Rocker have both got through. Were you expecting to have both of them?
Oh, not after we walked away from the Fremantle game, but as the weeks went on, or as the days went on, we were more and more confident. And they've trained very well for a week. It's not just the last couple of days. So, we've got a good week's training out of both boys.
A lot of the talk's been Nathan Buckley and Adam Simpson. Do you think that will eventuate, and would you be happy if it did?
I'm sure it will.
Shall we look forward to it?
I'll look forward to it, but Nathan's the sort of bloke, and I've got the greatest admiration for Adam Simpson, what he's done and how he's gone about it. But at the end of the day, Nathan's been our most consistent player for a number of years, and I believe that pride alone will ensure that he has a good match.
Thanks, Mick. Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
As the Kangaroos come out on the ground, and you've got to take your hat off to them, Robert. Despite all the adversity they've had this year, they continue to provide the goods.
They do, and I think you've got to give credit to their leadership group, Stevens and Archer, Mick Martin, Spider Burton. They've just been terrific, Byron Pickett included, McCartney. They've all taken on extra responsibility. We have a look at the line-up there, and you've got the veterans in Martin and Archer on that full-back line. Scotty Cummings coming back into the Collingwood team. Colbert at centre-half back. He'll have a huge job playing on Anthony Rocker. And, of course, Tarrant playing for the Magpies. That's important. Midfield, good midfield for the Kangaroos. Stevens, Simpson and Robbins. Buckley in the midfield with... he'll probably play on Simpson.
Well, they waste Simpson on Buckley, though. He's having such a fantastic year.
It's an interesting one because Adam Simpson has gone up a level or two. Nathan Buckley's been a champion for 8 or 9 years. We all know that. And Simpson's often played a negating role on him. But I just reckon Simpson could freewheel tonight. Kangaroos half-forward line. Byron Pickett's been kicking plenty of goals. Morel strong at centre half forward, Cloak across the half back line. We look at the full back line for the Magpies. Prestigiacomo and Waitland, either one will get Big Sav Rocker, who's in great form, kicking goals up in Brisbane. We have a look at the on-ballers. Spider Burton been magnificent in the ruck. He's just about carried it single-handedly. Grant and Harvey great at ground level. McKee and, of course, young McGough. Kangaroos bench. Young there, Rawling, Smith. Petrie will do ruck work. Baird can play in defence, and Didac, Betheris, O'Brien and Cole. O'Brien's starting to run into some terrific form.
Kangaroos have got 6 wins. What might have been with a touch of luck?
Well, you have a look at that, and they were great last week. Butte game up there at the Gabba went down by 15 points, and then 4, 3 and 8 points they lost by. They could easily be 8-4, even 9-3, so... they're in pretty good form.
We're going to take a break tonight. 2 of the AFL's most electrifying players are going head-to-head. That man, Leon Davis, and the Kangaroos, Byron Pickett. Will they light up Colonial Stadium tonight? Saturday night football at Colonial Stadium. For what it's worth, I'm tipping the Magpies by about a kick tonight. That's about it, Michael Christian. Welcome. How about you?
Yes, Steve, it's going to be a great game of football. Both sides really have had pretty good seasons. As you mentioned before, the Kangaroos a couple of very near losses, so looking forward to a great match. As we go down to Jared Waitley for a report on the conditions.
Quarters, perfect conditions as always here at Colonial Stadium. The roof is closed. It's a little bit damp underfoot. The roof was open for much of the day, but it will lend itself to higher scoring matches as it did last night when Essendon defeated Melbourne. The benches are as named, and certainly the Collingwood Army out in force yet again.
And the Cybercoach question for tonight is the split round better than a complete week off? A for yes, B for no. Get on the SMS text message 0421 261 011 0421 261 011 for the Cybercoach question for tonight. We'll update you with that right throughout the evening. Gee, I'm looking forward to tonight. It's going to be really tough. Very evenly matched, these two teams. There's Colbert on Anthony Rocker.
Just looking at the Collingwood players setting up, and they've got a pretty tall forward line down the other end of the ground. You can see that Des Cummings on Martin. Collingwood have got a tall forward line. They will try to stretch the North defence. They're playing Martin and Fraser.
And Spider Burton gets the first knock of the night. Straight to Robbins, who kicks it to centre half forward. Kangaroos going to the right of the screen. As you might have guessed, there's Scotland. It was pretty good against Fremantle last time out. Magpies get possession. Cloak at the true centre half back position. Bangs it long. Archer in front of Tarrant. Archer did well. Teague's bowled over by Lockyer, and the umpire will bounce it down as we see a very quick interchange by the Roos coming on as John Baird.
Yes, and Baird will go on to probably play on Josh Fraser. McCartney, you can see McCartney number 5 in picture on the left. He raced down from the forward line to get into the back line to look after Fraser. Collingwood have got 4 tall forwards.
Burton gets it clear. McCartney just scrambles a kick out of the congestion. Chance now for McGough. He's got so much poise for a young player. Kick inside, attacking 50. Davis can't control it. Well played by the Kangaroo defence, or is it? Comes to Davis, kicks along the ground and misses. In fact, in the end, just squeezed it through for a behind. But he is electrifying.
Oh, super quick, opportunist, and he'd normally kick that one. He'd be a little bit disappointed.
Another quick change by the Kangaroos. Petrie on. As from the kick out.
They had the numbers down the middle there, the Kangaroos, so Makepeace just kicked to a collection of Kangaroos.
And Archer was the man as he goes to the wing. There's Rocker, the former Magpie, Sav. As we have a throw-in slightly into the Kangaroos' attacking territory.
And the Collingwood forwards, they've moved down to the wing. There's only 2 in their forward 50, and that's Cummings and Davis. Tarrant pushing back now.
Burton, the front posse. Burns. To half forward. Archer again in front of Tarrant. Somehow got it to Colbert. Harvey looking for options and finds one. Simpson, what a year he's had on the left. Kick's not all that flash. Getting there is Petrie. Now Morrell in trouble, ducked ahead. Umpire waving the arm, says play on. And they'll have another ball up.
Just looking at Nathan Buckley at the moment, it looks like Simpson will be his opponent. Both coming in towards this contest on the left there. Two leading kick getters in the comp.
Saw Harding in the foreground. He came onto the ground replacing Petrie. The boundary throw in. Scott Burns.
At this situation, Michael, it's the boundary throw in on the wing. Josh Fraser's doing the ruck work against Spider Burton. McKee's in Collingwood's defensive 50.
Free kick, and it'll go Burton's way. Quick handoff to Harvey. Kangaroos into attack. Fist from McKee. Comes to Harding. He's dynamic. Can't get an effective handball. Cloak needs to get it clear. Harding again in there fighting. McGough. Cool handball under pressure. McKee. Now the Courier. Collingwood slightly into attack. Tarrant and Archer. Archer with strength. Wobbles it towards half forward. McKee couldn't quite control it with the one hand. Can now. Scotland, who was very good in Collingwood's last match against Fremantle. Ambitious kick out wide. Clement has got Fraser in support. Now a chance for the Magpies. Kick towards the wing. Glenn Freeborn against his old club. Run provided by Johnson. Lockyer takes it. Can he control it? He can't. Boundary throwing.
Let's go down to Jared Waitley. The interchange, Stewart's busy already, Jared.
Yes, quarters. Dennis Pagan's made 3 changes in the first 3 minutes of the match. Sinclair was headed to the bench as the opening siren rang, with Baird coming on, and then Harding came off for Petrie, and a minute later they reversed that and Petrie came off for Harding. So Dennis Pagan hard at work with the tactics.
Throw in. There's Colbert, little toe poke towards the boundary line.
Simpson and Buckley pretty close. This will be a great contest, Simpson and Buckley. Already you can see Archer's playing on Tarrant. That'll be a terrific contest as well. And Lee Colbert will be playing on Anthony Rocker.
Over the top went Burton to Stevens. Ineffective kick. Anthony Rocker finds Freeborn. Will be kicking from exactly 50 metres out. The angle's acute.
Very clever kick by Rocker.
So Glenn Freeborn kicked 2 goals this season in his 12 matches, right from 50. And it stays left. So the Magpies are 2 behind. The Kangaroos yet to score 5.5 in this first quarter.
Prestigiacomo at full-back playing on Big Sav, his former teammate.
Makepeace gets it to Harvey. Still deep in his own defensive zone, Brent Harvey. Oh, dangerous kick towards King. Squall came from Scotland. Freeborn couldn't quite get the effective handball. They fight hard at ground level. Lockyer concedes ground to Rocker. 55 from goal. Dumps it to the goal square. Tarrant couldn't quite take the mark. Play on's the call. Kangaroos under extreme pressure. Martin just arched the back. Kicks across his defensive goal face. T. Good mark. Tarrant. Soaring attempt in the goal square. Couldn't quite complete the mark. And the Kangaroos relieve the pressure to Makepeace at half-back.
Short to Colbert. He in turn gives it to Archer. Been prominent early. To half forward. Harvey's outsized here, but somehow wins the football. Slick handball to Pickett. What can he do? He gets bowled over. He's got the free. So Byron Pickett will line up from a slight angle, kicking from about 40 metres out at worst.
Terrific contest just before this. It was little Harvey against Cloak. Harvey just made the body contact on the bigger Collingwood opponent just to put him off balance. Ball came to ground. He was able to get the quick handball across to Byron Pickett, and Clement realising that he couldn't let Byron just run free, so had to put the hand on him and infringed. Byron Pickett, second leading goal kicker for the Kangaroos.
Averaging 2 goals a game exactly this year. 12 games, 24 goals. And he makes no mistake. The Kangaroos are on the board. So the Kangaroos get the first goal of the evening. We've been going 7.5 minutes. They're a goal. The Maggies are 2 points.
And we'll just have a look at here, the contact made by little Harvey, just enough to put Cloak off balance. And then, of course, once the ball hit the deck, he was onto it. And quick hands over to Byron Pickett.
Mick Malthouse looking on, pondering. Back in the centre, McKee put his body in. Can't quite get it clear. Robbins, who's been a revelation this year for the Kangaroos, earns himself a free kick. Quickly off, Baird, dumps it long. Rocker and Prestigiacomo. Need support, Prestigiacomo. Harding swooped on the football, couldn't quite control it. Boundary throwing.
Both of these teams play a similar brand of football. They don't overpossess. They don't do a lot of handball. Don't short pass. It's generally run and drive the ball long and direct into the forward line. Kangaroos aiming for Big Sav.
McKee decisively. Burns, or handball through traffic was effective to Scotland. Wide kick. Oh, it's close. just touched inside the line by the Collingwood captain, Nathan Buckley. Big crowd in here at Colonial Stadium. Fantastic atmosphere. Kangaroos by 4 points.
Once again, it's Burton against McKee in the ruck. Spider got the fist onto it, or the palm, I should say. Scotland. It came off as he found Lockyer. Tarkin Lockyer to half-forward. Tarrant against Archer. Colbert fires out the handball to Harvey. Makepeace keeps it in. Can't sidestep McGough. Leon Davis. Buckley. Inside 50. Rocket dealt with his opponent in Colbert. Handball over the top to Freeborn was clever. Freeborn in the pocket. Right foot kick across the face. It's hit the behind post on the full, so it's a free kick in the back pocket to the Kangaroos, and Martin wastes no time as he finds King.
King calling for his teammates to present themselves. Martin's run on and gets the kick. Pressure coming from Cloak. Well played by Mick Martin. Game number 277. Colbert. Kangaroos just trying to work it out of their defensive zone with some method. Kick to the true centre-half forward position. Morrell in from the side. Good mark.
Encouraging signs for the Kangaroos to see the big fella mark like that.
Now he kicks out wide. Teague has run from half-back to present himself at half-forward. Support and missed the target with the handball. Baird. Plenty of time. Kicks towards half-forward. Mercurian Grant. Burton trying to hack it off the ground. Lockyer under pressure. Burns needs to be good. Here he is. To Lockyer. Dangerously across defensive goal face. Prestigiacomo did brilliantly in the end to get it to Scotland. Johnson back to Scotland, and Collingwood in the end work it out of their defensive zone. Or do they? Lucuria had to make a contest and did. McGough brilliantly done though by Simpson. Good pressure.
Paul Lucuria in picture. He's running with Shannon Grant. And red alert, Lee Colbert, 6 disposals in the last 10 minutes. Well, he's playing pretty well at centre-half back against Anthony Rocker.
King off and Sinclair on for the Kangaroos. So another change made by Denis Pagan. Hacked out of mid-air by Lucuria. Stevens to Sinclair. First touch straight on the ground and has an effect as he goes short to Simpson. He bangs it long. Harvey's at the tip of the goal square.
It's the way they play. Kick it long, move it on. And Adam Simpson, who got that kick, we thought that Simpson and Buckley were against each other. Well, they were for the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game, but they've got different opponents now. Simpson playing on McGough and Buckley being tagged by Teague.
Brent Harvey loves a goal. Kicked 20 of them so far in 2002. Goes to Banana, and I think he slid it through. He has. Great start to the Kangaroos. 2 straight goals. Collingwood 2 behinds. 12 minutes gone, first quarter.
Just good share there by Stevens to Sinclair. Smart kick by Sinclair. He saw that Simpson was free. Simpson off 2 steps long to the goal square. And good mark taken there. Well, he just had too much freedom there. Freeborn not tight enough on the dangerous Harvey.
So the Kangaroos off to a great start. Great tap from Burton.
No, Spider Burton, I think he's exceeded expectations this year as a ruckman. Kangaroos got Mark Porter across from Carlton, and you can see Harvey's been very hot over the last 10 minutes. Dangerous player, but Spider Burton's just rucked superbly this year.
Bad bounce gives Collingwood a chance. Fraser, Scotland. Probing kick. Archer coming up. Oh, collision. Now chance for the Magpies. Tarrant. Burns in hard. Play on. Good umpiring. Oh, Robbins should have got a free kick. No, wasn't forthcoming. Colbert. Eventually, umpire McInerney calls for it. Mick Martin and Scott Cummings get reacquainted.
Yeah, well, Mickey Martin won't give him an inch. And you see there, Robbins going to ground. It'll be hard to get a free kick tonight. You'll have to earn them.
Stevens. Wild handball. Sinclair gets there first. Makepeace. Oh, great pickup by King. Pumps it long. Cloak against Morrell. Morrell the front posse. Freeboard. Quick hands to Cloak. Clement. Wakelin. In front is Davis. Teague did well. Backed himself. Sinclair. Under pressure. Simpson. Gee, it's not much room for anyone to move at the moment. Ball ends up with Simpson. It was at 15.
Well, the crowd think not. That's why they're screaming.
Simpson. Across the ground. Archer provides the target, and Tarrant wasn't watching the ball.
No, you've got to keep your eyes on the ball there.
Archer from midfield. Kick towards Rocker. Severio.
Let's go back down to Jared Waitley.
Yeah, Quarters, the work on the bench is amazing. David King spent about 90 seconds on the bench, virtually on the phone the whole time, just getting a message from Denis Pagan. I haven't seen the runners work so hard, and Denis Pagan obviously just wanting to deliver a personal message that time to David King.
15 marks to 2, Kangaroos' favour, so they're certainly hitting the targets. Look, that was a long kick in the general direction, and Sav Rocker just too good for Prestigiacomo.
Well, kick from right on 50, has 29 goals this season, kicked 6 against the Lions last week. Thumping kick is close, just across the face. There's behind for the evening for the Kangaroos, the boot of Severio Rocker.
Lockyer.
He's going to have to, yeah, he'll have to kick it quick or they'll take it off him.
That's 3 times he's stopped. Umpire giving him plenty of latitude. Well, patience is a virtue. He finds Scotland. Wakelin. Sweeping handball to Clement. Leon Davis stood his ground, almost sparked the football. Makepeace. Colbert ducked ahead. Umpire's going to bounce it down, and Collingwood's true centre-half forward position. We've been going almost 16 minutes in this first quarter, and it is the Kangaroos by 11 points.
Well, the Collingwood forwards just haven't been able to take any marks.
Rocker and Colbert. Rocker gets it chucked though by Robbins. Spiral towards the centre. McKee going back. Makes a comfortable chest mark. Such an important player in this Collingwood structure, Steve McKee. Lucuria sweeps it wide. McGough needs to use it effectively, looking for Burns. Almost got to him. Burns still a chance, but he's outnumbered 3-on-1. Archer gets it back to Harvey between wing and half-back, wants to get on with it now. Sinclair will want his left side. Hoisted high, Morrell up high. Now a chance for Clement. Freeborn. Got a loose player in Buckley inside. He ignores that. Now he uses Buckley. Nathan Buckley. Can he use the football? A thumping kick. Fraser at the back.
That's what they've been looking for. Tall forward to take a mark. They've gone into the game with 4 tall forwards. Just a lovely kick of Buckley's in the end. He's kicked at every bit of 60 metres, and it was a perfect kick. And we'll have a look at him here. He is just a wonderful kick, and it just gives Fraser time to set himself, and he comes from behind Baird, pulls it down.
30 metres from goal, directly in front. He comes in and pops it through. Collingwood's first. So Collingwood, their first goal of the match. Josh Fraser kicks his 14th goal of the season after kicking 3 last week against the Dockers.
Yes, and #1 draft pick Fraser. And again, we have a look at it. That is just a lovely kick, and he's just got the perfect set. Lockyer was tempted to get into it. You see Lockyer coming in, then he takes his eyes off the footy and decides it's better to be down at ground level. Tarrant really finding it hard to get into the action. That's one of the toughest players to play on in Glenn Archer. Archer's had 5 or 6 disposals. Tarrant yet to get a touch.
Burton punches it forward. But doing the roving was McKee very nicely. Clement. He drills it long. Caught out of position was Tarrant, and Makepeace in the end is the man to take the mark. Goes out wide to his skipper and Stevens. Good kick to half forward. King to Rocker, and I tell you what, It's within his range. He's about 60 out. So Sav has got the big wind-up here. He thumps it long, but it's offline and through for one behind. Two behinds to Sav Rocker. The Roos are 2-2. The Magpies are 1-2. 19 minutes gone first quarter.
6 goals straight last week.
Yeah, I think Colonial Stadium, roof closed, perfect for Big Sav.
Well, dangerous kick intended for Freeborn. And Rocker made some ground to affect the spoil.
Well, it's just tailor-made for Big Sav. Solid ground surface, no wind out there for a big man who likes to go for his marks. Just perfect conditions.
He'll assist in the ruck work here. Key almost wins it over the top. Simpson now with Harvey to the top of the goal square. The back to Collingwood. Cloak a chance. Well, in the end, just hacked it towards the boundary line. And it just goes over in front of Johnson.
Well, there was nothing in front of him, so he just did the percentage thing. And you can see there James Clement coming across to the youngster saying, well done, that was the right thing to do. Don't try to be a hero when you're under pressure back there in the defensive 50.
20 minutes played first term. Kangaroos by 6 points. Simpson and Buckley. Now towards King, who tried to soccer off the ground. Freeborn, who's been prominent in this first quarter, to Buckley, to Clement. Charon has to back. Oh, Archer, almost a great mark. It's been paid.
Great mark.
Play on for call. Ended up with Robbins to Simpson. He kicks towards a lead of Rocket. Oh, almost a marking from the side by Petrie. Lucuria, Clement, and Collingwood now into attack.
Kick wasn't all that flash, and no mark to make peace. Umpire almost paid it. Now Burns, Buckley. What can he do with the football this time? He goes backwards, and now he thumps it long again. This time his target is Cummings. He's got to beat 2 of them. In fact, he's got to beat 3 of them. And numbers went out as the Kangaroos clear. Colbert to Stevens. His kick's poor, straight to Lucuria. Davis off for Collingwood, Cole on, but the ball's with Lucuria. They all miss it. There's a portion. It's a free kick to Collingwood.
Yeah, in the back to Freeborn. And I thought it was there. Ball going in, long kick going in. It looked like little Harvey just worried about lack of height in that situation. Just put the push into the back of Freeborn.
So Glenn Freeborn has another shot at goal.
Against his old side.
Missed his first attempt. This is easier. From 40 metres out, slight angle. And he has got it. So Glenn Freeborn ties it up here at Colonial Stadium. Round 13. It's the Magpies against the Kangaroos, and it's 2-2 apiece as we near quarter time. There's the free.
It's only the one hand, but it's enough. It was there.
So all locked up here. Kangaroos certainly winning in the centre. 9 hit-outs to 3 in favour of the Roos. Again, Burton had forward by Grant. Freeborn was held without it again. And he'll get another free kick, Glenn Freeborn. 9 possession. This will be his 10th possession in this opening quarter to Glenn Freeborn. Ben Johnson on the wing. Oh, shocking kick. It was touched off the boot. Now a chance for Harvey. Kangaroos, a vacant forward line. Rocker and Prestigiacomo need to keep their feet. Prestigiacomo just arched the back and eluded the Rocker tackle. Johnson again, and again his kick is ineffective. Brilliant smother coming from David King.
Gee, that was quick by Prestigiacomo. Red alert, James Clement playing across half-back, getting plenty of the ball, and he always tries to find a target as he goes forward.
So in it comes. Archer got boot to ball. There's Buckley. Gang tackle. Manages somehow to feed the handball out to Lucuria. He's well and truly under pressure. Prestigiacomo didn't panic. Cloak squeezed the kick out in front of O'Brien. He's got 5 metres on his opponent in Stevens. Have a look at that beard.
Gee, Terrence got off Archer.
As O'Brien scrubs one to half forward. There's Cole, who's come on the ground for Davis. We got a throw in.
You see Tarrant in picture there. He got away from Glenn Archer, and the Kangaroos really do help each other. Simpson just sprinted from the midfield to get back there to cover Tarrant, just to give Archer time to get back and cover him.
Buckley, another possession for Freeborn. To Burns from 55 metres out. Tarrant just waiting back. Gets a little love tap from Archer for good measure.
It was interesting. Only about a minute ago, Tarrant went kick chasing because he hadn't touched the footy. Archer was playing particularly well on him. He ran down to towards the wing and was involved in a couple of passages of play. Then he just sprinted 80 metres into the forward line, got away from Archer, and he's let himself down there.
So first possession for the evening for Tarrant, but he can only manage it behind. It was a very tight angle though. So it is the Magpies by that behind. 2-3 to 2-2. Almost 25 minutes ticked over in this first quarter.
Magpies set up a zone defence. They've got numbers everywhere. Collingwood players getting the hands up, trying to fill the spaces.
Interesting Makepeace. Kick to himself, then handball to Harvey. Who gets it to McCartney in the back pocket. Low scoring affair. It's been very entertaining. It's been tight and tough. McCartney thumps it long. McKee fists it down. Ground level. Chance for Teague. And handball through the congestion. Missed the target. Scotland back inside attacking 50. Only as far as Harvey. And he takes a comfortable mark. Now, thought about switching to McCartney. Elects to handball instead to Makepeace. Who thumps it long. McKee going back. Needed some courage. Not paid the mark. Petrie. To Grant. Scotland just standing off Shannon Grant there. Now Grant a chance to kick towards Baird playing up forward. Waitland did very well, but Pickett was brilliant with the tackle. Clement in trouble.
Good play by Baird there, Michael. He really did put the pressure on. He missed the mark, and John Baird's usually a defender. He just came onto the ground, went to full forward on Waitland, and Leon Davis has been benched. But Baird missed the mark, but then terrific pressure by Pickett, and then Baird forced the ball out of bounds.
Stevens has a pot shot at goal. It's across the face. Out on the full. So it is the Magpies by a point. No mark to Cloak. But he did well to tackle Sinclair and force the turnover. Lockyer. Cole, it's off his boot. Gee, I thought that was on the full.
Yeah, I think it was.
Right in front of the
Simpson screaming out, saying, my free kick. Simpson and Buckley back on each other.
It's a bad miss from the boundary.
Just watch it come off the boot.
Yeah.
Richard Cole's foot.
So throw in on centre wing. And we'll have another attempt. Some of the leading stat getters for Collingwood: 11 to Freeborn, 9 to Scotland, 7 to Clement, 7 to Licuria, while for the Kangaroos 11 to Harvey, 9 to Makepeace, 7 each to Colbert, Archer and Simpson. Close to quarter time. Makepeace. There's another one for Harvey. Long. Baird against Wakeland. Coming in from the side is Prestigiacomo.
They would have done a lot of that practice through the week, the Magpies, because they know the Kangaroos kick it long, and they would have just practiced that 2 or 3 steps, leap up and just thump the ball towards the boundary line.
Close to quarter time. Can the Kangaroos milk a late goal? McKee did very well. Gets an outside defensive 50. Buckley committed his body and ensured the ball travelled over the boundary line. So just 4 goals kicked in this opening quarter. Pressure has been immense. As we near quarter time, Petrie, there's a free kick. Which way will it go? McKee. Now play on advantage. Burns, who's been very good in the opening quarter. McCartney over the top. Read it brilliantly to Jason McCartney.
Well, he didn't think about it, Michael. He just went straight at it. Josh Fraser had a look, and by the time he'd had a look, McCartney was well and truly off.
Makepeace. 11 possessions for him. Geez, Hamill's put his team under pressure. Teague. Great tackle. It was by Rocker. Quickly out of the pack was Robbins to set up. Is that a mark? Umpire says no. And that will be quarter time. As, gee, it was a close thing for Sav. It would have had no problem with the distance from there, but that is the quarter time score in a very tight and tough opening. Collingwood 2-3-15, the Kangaroos 2-2-14, Robert Walls.
Well, there's not much in it, is there? Just the 1 point. And it's been a quarter of matchups and then moves. The interchange bench has been used. Both coaches trying to find an advantage. I think we're in for a terrific contest. Not much between the sides at all.
So at the first break, it is the Magpies by 1 point. He has! Brett Harvey loves a goal. Kicked 20 of them so far in 2002. Goes the banana, and I think he's threaded it through. He has. Quarter time at Colonial Stadium. This round 13 clash, and a crucial one it is. It's the Magpies by a point, 2-3 to 2-2. Freeborn, Fraser, Pickett and Harvey are the goal scorers so far in the match. And, well, to me, the highlight in the first quarter has been the Archer-Tarrant matchup. Glenn Archer really, well, giving Tarrant a lesson at the moment, isn't he?
It's just been too strong. He's had 7 disposals, Glenn Archer. Tarrant's only had the 1, but you can see that if it becomes a one-on-one contest, Archer will block, he will shepherd, he will smother, he will just do everything, punch from behind. A real desperado.
Will Tarrant be more effective used from the goal square, Rob?
Towards the end of that first quarter, they moved Tarrant to the goal square. I think so. Just try to get Tarrant to beat him on the lead. No good on the one-on-one where they have to wrestle.
Here's the top 10 for the player rankings, and Brett Harvey leading the way.
He's been absolutely outstanding, and one player that Collingwood has had a great year for the Magpies, Scott Burns, also prominent, and Glenn Freeborn, 11 possessions in that first quarter.
He was just terrific, wasn't he? And the thing that stood out was the marks 26-8 in favour of the Kangaroos.
Here's a bit of a turn up at quarter time. The Blues by 9 points over the Lions. Wonder how Ackermanis is going.
Yes, well, Carlton have done pretty well against Brisbane over the years, so they'd go up there with a degree of confidence.
Jared Waitley.
Quarters, I don't think I've seen a North Melbourne bench so furiously used during a quarter. In about 29 minutes, there were 9 changes made, including a couple of changes just for discussions on the phone. Firstly, King, and then Grant, and then McCartney all had about 90 seconds on the phone with Denis Pagan before the quarter-time huddle. So certainly a battle of tactics. Certainly matchups changed throughout the quarter. No injury concerns for either side at the moment, and this is an enormous crowd for a Saturday night footy at Colonial.
It is, Jared. It's a full book, and we heard there were some big traffic problems too outside near the lead up to the game, but it's a great crowd at Colonial.
Just looking at the 2 Collingwood forwards going down to the goal square. Cummings hasn't touched the ball in the first quarter. Tarrant's only had the 1 disposal. They're starting Tarrant in the goal square to get him to lead. No good wrestling with Archer. Cummings, the big fella, I would think if he doesn't get a touch in the first 10 minutes, he'll be off the ground.
And our mail from Brisbane is that Ackermanis had 2 kicks in the first quarter. But let's concentrate on this game, which is tight and tough as we expected. It's the Magpies by a point as we start the second term.
Noticed a lot of players slipping in that area of the ground inside the centre square. The ground is pretty hard, maybe something to do with the cricket which was played here a week or 2 ago. You see Mickey Martin giving Cummings nothing. You won't want to crack any jokes, Cummings, with Mickey Martin. He won't be laughing tonight.
That is a heavyweight duel between those two. Robbins did well to Harvey. McCartney on the left. Baird. Stevens, another one that slipped over. It is very icy out there, as in, gee, Wakeland got caught high. But we walked on it before the game, didn't we, Michael? It was really rock hard and very slippery.
Yeah, and a clay base, so I understand why players are finding it difficult to keep their feet. Wakeland, as we watch again, and Pickett just crude on Wakeland. Kicks towards the wing, Clement providing an option. Pickett did brilliantly, and has he given away a free kick? He has just held on to James Clement.
Collingwood only taken 1 contested mark thus far in the game.
Kick towards Rocker. Well played by Colbert.
Gee, Colbert just hanging on, wasn't he?
He's outsized Lee Colbert in that duel, but doing particularly well. 7 possessions in the opening quarter. Boundary thrown between wing and half forward for the Magpies, who lead by a point, early stages, second term. Rocker directs it down. Freeborn, slick little handball to Cole. Scrambles it towards full forward. It bounces goalward. Can Tarrant get a boot on? Archer was desperate and forces her behind. So the Magpies by a couple of points. Played 2 minutes in the second quarter.
And you can see again just Archer with the body in front of Tarrant. Have a look at the 2 Kangaroo players there, Archer and Mickey Martin. They'll test his sore hip.
Stevens heads towards the wing and does it nicely. Gee, look at the marks. 26-8.
Yeah, Collingwood just haven't been able to get particularly marks up forward. Byron Pickett getting ready to come back on.
Quick message from the coach. As McCartney and Fraser go at it. Hacked out of mid-air by Harvey. Is that 15?
The message would have been just to settle down. He was involved in a couple of free kicks. Good coaching by Denis Pagan. Just settle him down.
Pickett gets the mark and he bangs it long. The spoils from Wakeland. Good pick-up by Baird. Robbins. Sinclair on his wrong boot, which is his right. Prestigiacomo the spoil. Doing the crumbing is McKee. 50 out from the Roos goal.
And again, the strong spoil by Prestigiacomo. They know that the Kangaroos kick it long into the forward line, so all the Collingwood defenders, they'd be ready for that.
Kangaroos And they're attacking 50. Cloak and Petrie. Harvey can't keep it in. Brent Harvey, 14 possessions. So he's been outstanding.
Matthew Burton on the bench, Spider Burton, Petrie doing some ruck work just to ease the workload.
McKee gets it down. Ground level of Courier, trying to get it clear. A bit too fierce for O'Brien. Robbins to Harvey again. Inside attacking 50. Wakeland got to the front well. All played by Johnson, put his body in. Gee, they're going hard.
Fierce bump there by Byron Pickett. They are going in hard, the Kangaroos.
As we look at Matthew Burton, just taking a break. Kangaroos just 30 metres from their goal. Over the top, Morrell gets it down. King couldn't quite control it. Cloak brilliantly tackled. Morrell again tried to get it out towards Harvey. Couldn't. And another bounce.
This is where they're dangerous, the Kangaroos, at these ruck contests 30, 40 metres out from their goal. They make a bit of space between the contest and the goals, hit towards their goal, players just screaming through.
That conversation's still going on.
You think they would have run out of things to say by now. Petrie and McKee. Kangaroos deep into attack. Chance for Morrell. Snap around the body. Offline. And in fact, he's missed everything. So out on the full. Collingwood free kick to Wakeland. Robbie was in plenty of space, though. You said they were dangerous.
Oh, they're dangerous at those situations. Both of these sides, Collingwood and the Kangaroos, are very good at the clearances from ruck contests.
Here's a chance for Buckley. The bounce didn't favour him. And Simpson sees it over the line.
I reckon Buckley was a bit worried about the surface, about slipping. He just tended to just hang back a fraction. To see him here, just realising, I think if he took a sharp turn, his feet could go from under him.
Burns. Robbins is in there. They'll have another ball up. Let's get out of Gerard Waitley with a report on Spider.
Yeah, quarters. Matthew Burton's had a few conversations with the doctor during the first 5 minutes of this quarter. Just enough activity to have you believe they're a little bit concerned, although he hasn't had any obvious treatment on the boundary line. We'll keep an eye on that.
Brady Rawlings on for the Kangaroos. 3 men in their side tonight, the Kangaroos, who have not played a game this year. Smith, Petrie and Rawlings. It's inside the Kangaroos 50. Harvey. Jammed on the boundary line. Floats one to the tip of the goal square. The Cloak playing in front saves the day for Collingwood.
Gets the call from Clement. He'll need a good bounce here, and he didn't get one. So a turnover, or is it? Pickett tries to crash his way through. Clement has... Oh, shit. No free kick.
Gee, you'd like to see that again.
You would indeed. The Courier has it. Collingwood on the break. Well, kick had too much penetration for Fraser, but he was too nimble for McCartney. Can he control it, Josh Fraser? Now he has a couple of players in support. He should have used it. He does now. He uses Lockyer. Kick inside. Cummings over his head. Tarrant and Archer. Tarrant keeps his feet, but Martin strips it from him. Little toe play for by Cummings. Stevens in the way. Kept his head. Handball to Archer. Takes all the time he needs. To Colbert.
Free kick. Gee, that was brave by Roberts. He knew he was going to get hurt, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't take a backward step.
Let's have a look at it here, Clement. And just caught him with the forearm. I think he'd be all right, Clement. As far as report goes.
No, that was fair enough. But gee, was just courage from Robbins.
My word.
Colbert kick short to Archer.
It's come upfield.
It's come upfield, yeah.
So Shannon Grant's got the football. Gives it to Colbert. His target is Sav Rocker. Beautifully nudged under the ball by Prestigiacomo. Morrell, Simpson. Gee, losing his footing at the crucial moment was Petrie.
Yeah, he slipped, didn't he?
And McKee. Now he spots up Scotland. Scotland, little chip over the top to Licuria, the Magpies build.
Licuria needs to use the ball. Short. Gets to Tarrant. Not quite.
desperate.
Good play by Martin. Great pressure again.
Desperate. Yeah, Cummings off. He hasn't had a disposal, Cummings. That was going to happen.
You were 1 minute and 30 seconds out. You hit the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, they've been a bit top-heavy in that forward line. They've only had the one contested mark. Now, you've played for, say, the best part of 40 minutes, and you've got Fraser, Cummings, Rocker in your side. Well, you just can't keep going that way.
Played 9 minutes in this second quarter. Martin gives it straight to Tarrant, who chips forward. Fraser. Martin half forward. Now he's got a player on attacking 50. It's Lockyer. Tarkin Lockyer. Wastes no time. Contest in the goal square. Rocker. Outmarks Archer. And bangs it through. Goal to Collingwood. So Anthony Rocker kicks the Magpies third. Good play from Tarkin Lockyer.
Excellent play by Lockyer to set the ball up like that. Anthony put a little bit of contact onto Archer. Archer knew there wouldn't be a free kick coming his way. This is a lovely kick. Just put it to a perfect spot and contested marks. That's the second one they've got for the game.
Mick Martin copped a high knock before, and he's had to come off under the blood rule.
I think it might have been that desperate lunge there on Tarrant.
Yeah, and
he's just caught one in the face. That won't worry Mick.
So the Magpies by 8 points. We've gone 10 minutes exactly in this second quarter. Stephen McKee in the ruck.
Richard Cole coming from the field, Didac replacing him, so they've gone for a shorter player in the forward line.
Petrie got the knock, but it went straight to Buckley, who puts Collingwood back into attack. Underneath it is Baird.
Yeah, there's Didac, number 4, just came on.
Baird switches to Rawlings on the outer side. Harvey back to Rawlings. He bangs it long, but Wakeland's there. He's got the sitters at a free kick. Should have been. Umpire said no. Johnson sees it over the line for a throw-in.
Interesting one, wasn't it? Stevens, the player who perhaps could have given away the free kick. We'll have a look at it coming in. Stevens took his eyes off the ball. He infringed on Wakeland. Should have been a Collingwood free kick.
So a chance for the Kangaroos here. There's Stevens again. Freeborn's been good. Hardy.
Great smother by Burns.
To O'Brien. Only as far as Harvey. He loves these. Harvey. It's not a bad kick. It's a sensational goal. From a standing start, Brett Harvey has kicked an absolute ripper. That's his second. And it's the Magpies by 2 points.
And there's no doubt that he called for this from O'Brien, because O'Brien didn't really look. He just handballed to the noise as we watch it on replay. Just coming up here. Now O'Brien just hears the voice and realises that he's handballed straight to the opposition.
Yeah.
Great goal.
Well, have a look at that, 18 disposals. They have to put a tight tag on him, the Magpies. We'll see if that happens in the next minute or two.
Petrie slips, but still gets the centre clearance. Diving attempt at Stevens is effective. And Kangaroos, chance again. He wastes no time. Kick inside, attacking 50. King on the lead. Just escapes him. Oh, both sides finding trouble. Protect their feet. King runs to 30. Drop punt. This is to the near side.
Don't you love watching him play? Backs himself. They are really bold. David King, Harvey, Shannon Grant, Byron Pickett. They just take the opposition on every time. An exciting team to watch.
So it's a point the difference. There's the leading possession getters. Harvey leading the way.
Big Spider Burton back on. Petrie off.
Clement to do the kicking in.
Big Spider a chance here.
It's McKee and Burton. Burton fists. Freeborn's had a great night, but not on this occasion as Robbins gets it to Burton from 51 metres. Spider might have kicked the goal! Kangaroos in front! '27 plays 22. And the momentum at the moment with the Kangaroos.
And just terrific play by the big man, and that's the value of him. He's just not just a tap ruckman, he's well over 200 centimetres tall. He also reads the play well. He's a smart player, he knows how to position, and you can see he's kicked that from 50 metres out.
So the Kangaroos kick the last 2 goals and lead by 5 points. McKee takes it out. Clement scrambles it forward. Davis.
Well, he needs to get into the game, Leon Davis.
Uses Dynak in his left foot. Kick Tarrant and Archer. Tarrant not quite. Archer, did it brilliantly. Kick out wide, Rawlings. And Stevens now to assist. Concedes some ground to Harvey, who just keeps racking up the possessions. High to half forward. Rocker gets Prestigiacomo out of the way and takes the mark. Even he will be bothered by the distance. It's about 90 metres. Kick towards Harding. Scotland getting back. Takes a relieving mark for the Magpies.
Now he's got Dynak out wide, and that's where he kicks. Dynak looks for Anthony Rocker. That's an excellent mark. Great contested mark.
Yeah, and he's getting a little bit frustrated, Anthony, but it is a good mark. Colbert will try to negate him all night. Colbert won't be interested in getting kicks himself. He'll just say, I've got to play alongside Anthony, get a fist on the footy, and just limit his disposals.
McGough on for Burns. Oh, quick hands by McGough to Lockyer. He loves these target Lockyer, but he's missed to the left. Just the one behind. So it's the Kangaroos 4-3. The Magpies 3-5. 4 points the difference. Halfway mark of the second quarter.
That kick barely covering the required distance. Archer has it in the back pocket. And that's what confronts him.
Glenn Freeborn being put onto Harvey.
Short, Rawlings.
When they go to Harvey every opportunity, he's a go-to player.
Wobbles it out of the defensive zone. He had nothing to kick to there, Harvey. Now McKee, can he trap it inside the line? He can. Uses Lucuria, back to McKee. Johnson running in support. Collingwood a chance. Kicks it. Makepeace. Well, Johnson didn't really look. And that's a costly turnover.
Yeah.
Makepeace gets it to King.
Anthony Rocker screaming at Johnson for the poor kick into the forward 50.
King tried to milk the 50. Umpire awake to that one. Short to Rawlings.
Be interesting to see if Tarrant stays out there. He's only had 2 touches halfway through this second quarter. His opponent Archer's had 10.
Looseman on the wing for the Roos. It's Burton to Teague. He's got about 40 metres on his nearest opponent. Teague decides to kick. He's looking for Rocker. In front, no mark. Back of the pack. Scotland. Now Robbins attack the ball. Handballs to Harding. Boot to ball. One behind. To Lee Harding. So it's the Kangaroos by 5 points. 16 and a half minutes gone, second quarter.
Big Sav's causing real concern up in that forward line, and they're going to him, the Kangaroos, every time they break past the wings and the centre square. It's Big Sav they look for.
Breed from the kick into Cole. Oh, shocking kick. Just straight to Simpson, who gets it to Rawlings, who's had some effective possessions in this second quarter, and he gets it to Rocker again.
Makepeace running out wide.
He won't have a shot, will he?
Well, he's 90 metres from goal. It's a good idea of what is running for him. He loads up with a torpedo, wobbles off the boot.
Free kick to Burton for a hole. Sorry, Michael off the ball.
So Matthew Burton, free kick.
Yeah, he was being held. As the ball was coming in, Burton was preparing to run up and go for the mark, and he was just dragged off the ball.
Was it McKee or Wakeman? Did you pick up who it was?
Well, McKee stands the mark as Burton comes in and pops it through for his second. So the Kangaroos have kicked the last 3 goals of the game and have their biggest lead of the game, 11 points.
That was McKee.
Yeah.
That was the aftermath of it.
Gee, goals are hard to get. It's a low-scoring game, so every one is vital. And since he came on about 6 minutes back, the big Spider's been able to kick too.
So in the context of this game so far, an 11-point buffer is monumental. We're in a bit of a roll, the Kangaroos. That's a definite free kick to Scotland, much to the delight of the Collingwood fans. O'Brien and Harvey, who's absolutely blitzed so far tonight. Spoils, got to throw in.
Isn't he a wonderful player? And have a look at the disposals per goal. Collingwood 41, Kangaroos 27. You're usually looking for about 18 or 19 disposals per goal. Low scoring game, close checking game, that's why. Hard to find space for the players, and neither side has really got a dominant tall forward.
The free kick paid off the ball against Lucuria to Grant. So the Kangaroos into attack again. Prestigiacomo again worked Rocker under the ball. Cole needs to be precise in his skills here. It's a good kick, gets it to Scotland at centre-half back. Now, run provided out wide from Wakeland, but McCartney held him up well. Instead, kicks out wide to Fraser, between wing and half-forward. Collingwood need the next goal. Tarrant breaks for him. He kicks in Tarrant's direction. Almost got hands to it. Well, good tackle on Smith. Play on, McGough. Batheris on the ground, hoisted high, Rocker, oh, he's got to beat three. The fist from Teague. Gets to the boundary line, and the right forward pocket for the Magpies.
Yeah, Batheris came on for O'Brien.
Looking a bit out of sorts, Leon Davis. And just have a look at the body pressure that Archer puts on Tarrant. Tarrant's one of the best players on the lead with the mark, but just couldn't get freed up at all.
Batheris tries to take it out, he can't get clear. These players go on with it. Rupert Batheris and Smith from the bottom of the pack.
And you can see Tarrant, number 20, Archer. He will follow him every step of the way. He is not giving him any space whatsoever.
Rocker trying to get it down T, couldn't clear the congestion. Batheris, Davis, snap around the body. It's close, it's across the face, and boundary throw in. Well, that was an anticlimax. Leon Davis, so dangerous in those situations. So a boundary throwing deep in Collingwood's attacking zone.
This is dangerous because have a look at the space between the contest and the goals.
Martin contested that one. Lockyer, snap, goal. Just what the Magpies needed. So Target Lockyer gets one back for the Magpies. They just needed that to break the momentum. The Kangaroos had, I reckon, Robert.
Yeah, you just don't want Mick Martin in the ruck contest. Mick hasn't got any idea how to ruck work. Spider Burton should have been down there to do the ruck work. You just can't have Mick do the ruck work.
So margin back to 5 points in favour of the Kangaroos. Buckley a chance. Wrapped up by Simpson, but he gets it out towards Scotland. Look away handball to Cole. Oh, clever. Uses the ball effectively. Lucuria runs towards half-forward. Kick out wide. Tarrant on the lead. Archer again strong. Chance for Lockyer at ground level. Can he haul it back? He can. Can't bring it back enough. Boundary throwing. Adjacent to the behind post.
Players in the engine room. Harvey, Robin, Stevens. What a great game Harvey's playing. Simpson, he would usually have around about 16 possessions to this stage of a game. 15, 16, so he's being kept in check. Scotland, Lucuria, but Buckley only 8. So the stars aren't shining.
Smith got back up. Oh, he's got it a long time. He didn't make much of an attempt. He had prior opportunity, and Tarkin Lockyer pleading with umpire McInerney to no avail. Bounce. Gillon Smith, his first game of the year.
And again, Anthony Rocker against Coleman.
Comes towards Lockyer. Davis, snap out of the pack. Oh, he's hit the post. Oh. Well, that says it all. behind to the Magpies margin. 4 points, 23 minutes in. Second term.
Spider Burton's just got to get down there for those defensive ruck contests. He can't let Colbert and Martin do it. He's been playing up around the centre square with McKee.
King right up the middle. Buckley does the roving. Puts Collingwood back inside 50. Camping underneath it was Freeborn. Martin straight to the boundary line. And it stays in. Didak from 55 out. Kick into the goal square. It's a 3-on-1 in favour of the Roos. And we'll have a throw in.
Well, let's see. Spider again won't go down to do it. And it'll be Anthony Rocker against Colbert. And very disciplined, the Magpies. They make space between the contest and the goal square. They'll try to stream into that space.
Rocker immediately tackled by Colbert. We'll have a ball up.
Spider's been told by the runner to get down there, so you'll see him come into picture at last.
Was making you feel uncomfortable, that, wasn't it, Robert? The coach came out on you. In the pocket. There's a chance for Freeborn around the corner. And it's one behind to Glenn Freeborn, who's kicked 1 goal, 2 for the evening. So it's the Kangaroos 34, Collingwood 31, 3 points the difference. 24.5 minutes gone in the second quarter.
Gee, the interchange bench has been used extensively in this first half. Physical game, not a high-scoring game. Plenty of hacks, plenty of bumps, plenty of tackles.
King kicks to himself and then drives it long. Oh, free kick out there against Collingwood, against the Curia, and it'll go to Simpson for shepherding away from the football. It was there. Simpson dumps it long. The back Cole. And touched it. McCartney. Now a chance for Johnson. Hoping handball more than anything. Buckley kicks along the boundary line. Rocker needs to make a contest and does. Well played. Boundary throwing. It's been a good duel, Rocker and Colbert. Honours, you'd have to say at this stage with Lee Colbert. But Rocker continues to present himself.
Inside 50 is pretty even throughout.
Comes to Davis. Can he use the football effectively? Inside attacking 50, Archer and Tarrant. Lockyer at the back. Snaps a goal and kicks it. No, he hits the post. Gee, Collingwood have peppered the goals in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Tarrant and Lockyer. Interesting kick at goals. We look at his reaction after missing that golden opportunity. Margin, 2 points, 26 minutes into this second quarter.
Well, he's kicked 1 and missed 2 goals that were gettable, Tarka Lockyer, this quarter. 2 points in favour of the Roos. King tucks the footy under the arm, goes for a customary run. Johnson for Collingwood. Shepherd provided by Wakeland. Good kick to Fraser. He's told to play on by Bethera. So Josh Fraser, his target's Leon Davis. Back of the pack, Colbert to Harvey. Clearly best on ground, Harvey. Dishes it to Teague. And now McCartney will mark uncontested on centre wing.
Jason McCartney. And no one's standing the mark, as you can see. Theris is there, but he's at 10 metres from where McCartney took the mark, so he takes advantage, kicks it long to half forward. Wakeland!
He had the big run and the big sit, and he took it.
Marks at half back, spectacular mark.
Just interchange use. Kangaroos have used their players extensively. Mick Malthouse has used his not quite as much, and players like McGough, O'Brien and Batheris, they'll have very fresh legs in the second half.
Batheris thumps it long to half forward. Fraser from the back. Got shepherded out by Martin, but Martin will get the free kick for a push in the back. Well played by Mick Martin.
Harvey's had 21 disposals. Just magnificent.
As we look at Martin just pushing back into Fraser and looping the free kick. Close to half-time, we're 28 minutes in. Second quarter, McCartney almost. Buckley at the back was taken high. Free kick to the Collingwood captain.
Adam Simpson. Simpson and Buckley, neither having a major influence on this game.
Free kicks at the moment, 10 to the Kangaroos, 7 to the Magpies.
At this stage, you've got about 36 players in the Collingwood front half.
The captain of Collingwood goes to half-forward Fraser, just spilt the beans.
Should have marked that, Josh Fraser.
Advantage paid. Here's a chance for Leon Davis. He squares it up, tip of the goal square. Perhaps should have had a shot. As Makepeace takes the mark. Fraser's hurt behind play. Looks like he might be winded.
What's he trying to do there, Rob?
Leon Davis. I think Leon Davis should have had a shot for goal. Their confidence is down a little bit. They've been kicking inaccurately, and the pressure, of course, has just been huge by the Kangaroo defence.
And another free kick, a puzzling one, and Savrock is a recipient.
Got one on the beak.
Yeah.
He's coming off. Fraser's coming off.
So Savrock at half-back.
Gee, it's just a congestion of players here on this wing. I think the Kangaroos are happy just to bottle it up.
It's a midfield flood, isn't it?
Yeah, just slow it down. Go in at half-time, a couple of points up.
Rocker. Burton contested with McKee. Grant had a fresh airy. Scotland. More hope than anything, got it out. Now Robbins, quick hands. Play on, says the umpire. Robbins again. Didak gets there first. Great tackle by Hardy. Forces Didak to handball wildly. It comes to King. King around the corner to half forward. Rawlings.
It's got McCartney as a long option.
Kicks long to the goal square. Wakeman read it brilliantly in the end. In front of McCartney. It's close to half-time. 30 and a half minutes played. Cole now. Plenty of space on the wing. Waddles a kick. It's a shocking kick. Under no pressure. Can't afford to turn the ball over so easily. Stevens marks it. Half-back. Squares it to Archer. As the half-time siren sounds, in what's been tight and tough, entertaining first half of football. Only 9 goals kicked, but it's been an enthralling duel. And at half-time, the Kangaroos lead by 2 points. 5-4-34 to Collingwood 4-8-32.
And the Kangaroo defence worked overtime the last 10 or 15 minutes of that second quarter. They just had the ball coming down there time and time again. But Archer, Martin, Makepeace, Colbert, they stood firm. And we can see Josh Fraser in picture there. He got a whack just on the top of the nose near the eyes and just shaking him up a bit. He'll be okay. He'll come back for the second half.
Gee, looks in a fair bit of discomfort, Josh Fraser. But at half-time, it's the Kangaroos by 2 points.
Well, he's following the broken lands, living on borrowed time.
Have we got match stats and rankings in this? Half-time here at Colonial Stadium. Saturday night football, it's round 13 and it is tight and tough as we thought it would be. The Kangaroos, 5-4-34 lead, Collingwood 4-8-32. Burton Harvey 2 apiece for the Roos, Pickett a single, while all singles for the Magpies, Freeborn, Rocker, Lockyer and Josh Fraser. Exactly the way we thought it would be, Robert. No quarter given, no quarter asked.
No, it's a tight game and the scores indicate that, and the statistics on the game, they indicate that as well. I'm enjoying it because it's a physical contest. Plenty of clashes, plenty of packs, plenty of smothers, plenty of desperate footy.
Let's have a look at some of the individuals in this game, and clearly Brent Harvey best on ground at the moment. He's having a blinder.
He's been magnificent. He's been terrific. He's been in and under, getting plenty of the ball, kicking goals. He gets back, he takes the kick-ins. He does everything for his side, and he's a real live wire. Glenn Freeborn had the job to try to control him, but he's a go-to player. They've got that much confidence in him, the Kangaroos, that whenever they get it, they'll dish it out to him. And of course, he'll win hard ball himself, but he can finish off very lively around goals.
We've seen over the years Glenn Archer match up on Matthew Richardson and give him a bit of a touch-up, and he's outsized again tonight, but it's a similar job he's doing on Chris Tarrant.
Oh, look, he just haunts those forwards. He plays tight, he gets body pressure on them. He's just so desperate. He throws his body around, gets the fist on it, doesn't give them any space at all. Forwards love space, particularly Tarrant. His game's built around having space to move into, and Archer's just denied him that space throughout.
Certainly has. He's been a wonderful player for the Kangaroos. Byron Pickett hasn't had a huge influence on the game, but again, in and under, he's doing a bit of hard work.
You're always aware.
You know what I mean.
You should be aware that he's there because he enjoys the physical aspect of the game. You can see him bowling over a couple of Magpie players there. He's one of those players who plays in patches. You can see very physical with the way that he hits in. He's a terrific player, and Denis Pagan has changed him from a half-back flanker into a dangerous half-forward.
Matthew Burton had a little break at the start of that second term and came on and made a huge impact.
He did, and the big fellow, he was able to get a couple of goals in that second quarter. He's a smart player, and as we said through the call, most fellas this size, they can only do the tap work, but he's clever enough to get in the right spot. He knows how to kick a goal, and he's able to bring his teammates into it, and he was really good for them. Good that Petrie was able to do 15 or 20 minutes in that second quarter as well, because that'll help Spider play out the second half.
Let's have a look at a trio of Magpies. First with Scott Burns, who's had a wonderful year so far after that terrible run of injuries last year. He's having an impact tonight.
Oh, he's been good. He's been playing across the midfield. He's hard and he's tough. He's really well respected in this Collingwood side, and he's enjoying his football. Look at that smother. Just first rate. They're the 1%ers that can win you games.
And also for Collingwood down back, Wakeland is doing a great job, as is Prestigiacomo.
Yeah, I thought that Wakeland and Prestigiacomo did a good job. In fact, it's a night for the defenders, and we see Prestigiacomo, number 35. He's been playing on Big Sav, so he'd know him pretty well, having been a teammate for many years. But he's got a turn of speed. See that there? Just gets away. Doesn't kick the ball all that often. Just likes to dish it off with handballs if he can. And Wakeland there coming from behind, getting the fist on the ball. A lot of spoiling done by the Collingwood defenders because the Kangaroos kick it in long and high to the forwards.
So let's have a look at the match stats up to half-time with the Kangaroos leading the Magpies by 2 points.
Well, if we have a look at that, there's really not much difference except in the marks area, and the Kangaroos got away to a fly in that first quarter, something like 26 marks to 8. Collingwood did improve as the second quarter unfolded, but handballs, contested possessions, marks inside 50. Kangaroos haven't had too many there. Not much between them. Look at the inside 50s, 27 to 26. Have a look at the player rankings. Brent Harvey, magnificent. Robbins in and under. Tarkin Lockyer would be disappointed that he missed a couple of goal-kicking opportunities. Archer, of course, just cutting Tarrant out of the game. Freeborn and Buckley getting a bit of it for the Pies. Colbert doing a good job at centre-half back on Anthony. McKee in the ruck. Anthony Stevens has been solid as well. Most of those players there are hard-working midfielders.
You just get a feeling it's going to come down to the last 90 seconds, don't you?
You do, and that happened last year between the two sides, neither side giving an inch. And I think that both coaches, they'll be working overtime to see if they can get an advantage, because tactically, there haven't been too many things that have, you know, gained a goal or two. It's just been interchange, use of the interchange, play close, play tight. I do think that Mick Malthouse will have to come up with someone to play tight on Brent Harvey.
So we're going to take a break. It's the Kangaroos by 2 points. When we come back, all the latest AFL news.
Yep. Thanks. Welcome back to Colonial Stadium as we look at the Kangaroo Rooms, and as you can see, they'd be pretty happy with their first half. They lead by 2 points. The Kangaroos 5-4-34, and they lead the Magpies 4-8-32. And joining me with all the news from round 13, good evening to Damien.
Thanks, Michael.
Well, Damien, a big game in Adelaide this afternoon. The Western Bulldogs going down by 46 points, and some bad news on the injury front.
It could be bad news. Chris Grant and his Bulldogs teammates had a pretty torrid time. Grant in particular. He copped a couple of heavy knocks. One was to his shoulder just before half-time of the clash, but of more concern for he and the club was a rolling of the ankle that occurred late in the game. At this stage, the Bulldogs don't believe the injury to be all that serious, but they did concede they would have to wait until they received the results of the scans taken tomorrow and also wait for the ankle itself to cool down. That's the footage there where it happened. It did happen late in the game.
Yes, he certainly looks extremely proppy there, Chris Grant. So Western Bulldog fans, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, Port Adelaide, 6 in a row.
6 in a row, and 10 of their past 11 actually it now makes it. They had a big win, 46 points. The Burgoyne brothers were the stars of the show. Peter, the elder brother, kicking 6, and Sean 5.
Fantastic performance from the Burgoyne brothers. Now at the MCG, Danny Frawley, the Richmond, well, another loss, and some interesting comments from Danny Frawley.
Yes, and there's a bit more of the stress collection footage-wise for Danny Frawley to be added to the mix of this 2002 season. He had good reason to be looking as he does there. They went down by 42 points, and after the game he did concede now that the Tigers' season was officially over. He said that the remainder of the year would be nothing more than a test of character for himself and his coaches, his players, his administration, the directors, even threw into the mix the supporters who were quite angry after the game. Some younger players did impress him. Cogden was good throughout the game. Roden gave some spark in the third quarter, but the senior players, 5 or 6 of them mentioned by Frawley, were the ones that let him down.
And what about Matthew Knights? Regained some touch in the VFL?
He did what he wanted to do and also what the Tigers expected. He went back to the VFL, picked up 30 touches, and you would think that given the performance of the senior team that he may be back into the mix next week.
And the Cats, 4 wins in a row, and Ben Graham starring up forward.
He returned to the part of the ground that he had a few problems with earlier on in the season, up there in the forward line. He spent the past 3 weeks in defence, but was asked by Mark Thompson to go forward today, kicked 5 goals. He was very good, as was Ruckman Stephen King, but it was the form of the younger players, Wojcinski, Enright, also Joel Corey, Chapman, Ling and Harley that did most impress Thompson. Thompson also said that he would not yet look at the finals, but that the 7-6 scoreline was a big achievement for a side that was so young, and that it even actually included a fair degree of professionalism, which is surprising.
He's certainly very happy. Well, thanks very much, Damien. Look forward to speaking to you next week. Half-time here at Colonial Stadium. The Kangaroos lead by 2 points in what's been an enthralling first half of football. Let's hope the second half is as good as the first.
There must be something wrong with me. Well, the good and things I just can't see unless I'm drinking.
Half-time at Colonial Stadium. Saturday night football, round 13. It's the Kangaroos by 2 points over Collingwood. Fantastic crowd in tonight, just about a full house. Had a few problems getting in at the last minute, but it's a Collingwood home game, and well, the Magpies fans will want some more, won't they, from their team, because they're behind at the moment, but it's very tight.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they set up in the forward line, Michael, because they went tall at the start of the game, and I just felt that Cummings and Tarrant have really struggled. Josh Fraser hasn't given them a lot. Anthony Rockers looked dangerous at times, but I don't think Mick Malthouse can afford to go in with a top-heavy forward line in this second half. And Cummings' career, AFL career, could be coming to a close.
Well, I think Malthouse worked out that really Tarrant is probably best value from the goal square, particularly against someone like Archer, who was just out-bodying him in that first quarter. But from the goal square, using his speed, as we talked about earlier, he can be used to advantage.
Let's update the Cybercoach question for tonight. Is the split round better than a complete week off? APSB for no. Get on the SMS text message 0421 261 011 with all the news from the rooms at half-time. Let's go down to Jared Waitley. Gee.
Quarters pretty light on the injury front. Josh Fraser went to the rooms at half-time. He could barely open his eyes. Certainly a lot of stinging in the eyes. He got a knock late in the second quarter, just on the bridge of the nose, but he is back out with the side now. That was the incident where it happened, and he was in all sorts of trouble trying to see, came off, but is back out there and looks like he will start this quarter. Scotty Cummings had a fair bit of work done in about the last 10 minutes on the bench of the second quarter, and he is coming to the bench now with the physio, so he would be a genuine query to see whether he is going to continue to play out this match. No bad news for the Kangaroos. Certainly both sides were expecting a tough night. They are living up to their expectations at the moment.
Thanks to Jared Waitley. Well, the Brisbane Lions were in a bit of trouble. They were trailed by 4 goals at one stage against Carlton, but they fought back in the second quarter to lead at half-time. 8-5-53 Brisbane. Carlton 7-9-51. The Lions by 2 points. Headland's got 3 for Brisbane, and Brett Ratton has got 2 for the Blues.
I think the Blues have spent a few days up on the Gold
Yes,
Coast.
they have.
Must have done them some good. And just having a look at Steve McKee, the big ruckman, and he's rucked the entire first half. You'd expect that Josh Fraser will do some ruck work in this second half. Lucuria, he's had plenty of the ball. Buckley had Simpson for most of the first half. James Clement playing on Byron Pickett. Very handy player, Clement, because he can play on a shorter opponent like Pickett. He can also play on the big fellas.
So we're off and running in the third quarter, with the Kangaroos 2 points in front. Burton and McKee both missed it. Lockyer came through like a steam train. Another possession for Scotland. That's number 17 for him. Here's a chance for the Magpies. It's inside their 50. Batprince throws his body at the ball. But at the bottom of the pack was Adam Simpson.
And Batprince did throw his body at the ball, and Jess Sinclair, he wasn't as committed as Batprince was in that contest, and he followed up Batprince with another hard hit.
Rocker towards goal. Harvey, did it brilliantly. Burton to Simpson. Harding at half back. Lee Harding drives it long. Rocker wrestling with Prestigiacomo. Cole's had a bit of the ball since he's come on.
He's going to be a very good player, Richard Cole.
It's nicely balanced. Harding again, got the hard ball to Harvey, and here come the Kangaroos.
Gets around Freeborn easily. Great chase though by Batprince. Well, gee, he was lucky not to be penalised. King tries to escape attack. Harvey a second chance. High to half-forward. Cole, the only player there for Collingwood. He wastes no time, squeezes a kick in the end to McKee. No one comes to stand the muck. Eventually Harding does.
Well, he's waiting because he's got no one to go long to. Josh Fraser hasn't presented. Finally, Fraser's come across to the flank. And Richard Cole will go for him.
Kick towards Fraser. A little push from Martin. Unnoticed. Makepeace. Close to the line. Harding and McKee. Oh, Harding did well in the end. Lucuria, hand at one arm pinned and should have been penalised. He was for throwing the ball. Great tackle from Shannon Grant. Lucuria's done a great job on Shannon Grant. He's only had 4 disposals. Kick inside, attacking 50. Burton, not quite. Harding is dangerous around the packs. Handball back to Grant. Sorry, to King. King kick around the body. Prestigiacomo needs to stand his ground. Can't. Morrell, free kick.
Gee, Scott Burns did well to stop Spider Burton taking the mark there.
Yes, he did.
Horribly out under man, wasn't he? The Pies did well in the end. As Buckley takes the mark.
Yeah, they're just holding up across half-back because they haven't got a tall option to go to. Finally, Lockyer presents himself, but this is where Anthony Rocker and Josh Fraser, they've got to come into the action.
To the wing, Burns. Now, there's Rocker trying to create something. Oh, somehow the ball up in the arms of Leon Davis. More by luck than design. Into the pocket. Marks taken by Lockyer.
Well, they brought that ball around the boundary line from back pocket to forward pocket, the Magpies. So good skill, good use, but they haven't been able to bring it into the central corridor because the Kangaroos have filled that space.
Tarkin Lockyer kicked 1 goal, 2 in the second quarter. Having an excellent game. Goes short to Tarrant. And finally Tarrant found some space. Archer was back waiting in the goal square.
They did well, Rob, just to keep that entire space in front of Lockyer free, and McKee ran into it first. That was ignored. Then Tarrant, as you can see, running into the space.
Yes, they did that well. Just held onto the footy and waited, didn't panic.
So Chris Tarrant needs to kick the goal, and he has converted. So it's the Magpies back in front, 5-8 to 5-4. And that'll give Chris Tarrant some confidence, Robert Walls.
It will, because he had a horror first half, and it's just hard to work out how he got away from Glenn Archer, because in the end it was Makepeace who was responsible for Tarrant, and a little bit of confusion back there with the Kangaroos.
So Collingwood back in front by 4 points. Burton up high. McKee read it a little better. Comes towards Scotland. He's buried and will have a bounce. Here's Scotland. Played very well for the Magpies against Fremantle at 25 possession in their last game against the Dockers. Leading possession winner for the Magpies this evening with 17. Teague thumps it forward, gains about 30 metres. Cole, oh, he wasn't aware of Morrell's presence. Now King, he wasn't aware of Freeborn. Great tackle. Now he's coming back.
That was interesting, Michael, because the umpire nearest that didn't pay the free kick. The umpire out on the wing did.
Delivers to Fraser, who kicks forward. Leon Davis on the lead. He marks on his chest in front of Makepeace.
Gee, some acceleration there.
Blistering speed from Leon Davis, and the kick was perfect. And Leon Davis from 45 metres.
And he's got Anthony Rocker saying, set it up on top of the goal square and I'll go for a hanger. Tarrant waiting to get into a bit of space. He's led, but Archer's gone with him.
Davis intent on shooting for goal from 45. It looks good off the boot. He's kicked it. So Collingwood kicked the second goal of the third quarter, and all of a sudden they lead by 10 points.
Well, Leon Davis ended up with 3 options. He could go long to the goal square to Anthony Rocker. He could go to Tarrant on the lead. The third option was, I'll have a go myself, which he did. Just the first 2 goals that they've got, the Magpies. They've set them up with very good foot passing coming from half back into that forward 50.
And here come the Magpies again. McKee puts them inside 50. Almost a mark to Rocker. Socket off the ground by Martin. Only as far as McKee has time to steady. Tarrant was being held off the ball. Didak just couldn't hang on to it. Now Tarrant onto his wrong side. Awkward kick. Lockyer concedes some ground back to Freeborn. Sells the dummy to King. Gets some space. Kicks a ripper. has got 2, and Collingwood have kicked 3 quick goals, and all of a sudden they lead by 16 points. And McKee playing in that centre square, got it forward. Didak almost the mark. Good play here, good share. Tarrant tried to get the shared pass. Lockyer, handball out to Freeborn, sells the dummy, and then straightens up and puts it through. We were looking for something like this where we could get a run of goals in a short period. It's finally happened.
So the Magpies with the only 3 goals of the third quarter, and they turn a 2-point deficit at half-time into a 16-point advantage. McKee beaten this time by Burton. Stevens couldn't get a clear possession. Sinclair dragged to the ground. And it's tight and tough as it has been all night. Collingwood just with a slight advantage as T comes from the ground. McCartney on. Fraser provides some assistance. Burton still wins. Freeborn only as far as Grant. Scrambles it forward. Over the head of Clement. Rocker, deft touch. Now a chance for McCartney. If he gets an obliging bounce, he does. Snaps to goal and just misses. So the Kangaroos, their first score of the third term. We've played 8.5 minutes, and Kangaroos 5-5-35. Collingwood 7-8-50.
As they work the ball out of defence. Gee, good kicking. Scotland's got Batheris, and Batheris has got 35 metres on his nearest opponent. He wastes no time. Sizzling pass to Leon Davis, who will go back and line up from about 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle for goal number 2.
And I think Mick Malthouse has decided that that young fella there, Leon Davis, with the footy, instead of crumbing in front, and they've used, again, good kicking, they've used Leon Davis from the goal square. He's not playing out on a half-forward flank and crumbing. He's on the lead from the goal square, and he's too quick for Makepeace.
Been very good since quarter time. So far he's kicked 1 goal, 3 in this game. Davis possessions up to 10 disposals, 4 marks.
He's pretty disappointed, Leon Davis. Kicked a much harder one only a couple of minutes back. Next goal has to be a Kangaroo goal or they're in real trouble.
Oh, dangerous kick. Play on to the court. Burns affected the spoil on Archer and ties it up. Well played, Scott Burns.
Just putting plenty of pressure on the Magpies.
One of the hardest and toughest players in the competition, Scott Burns. So Collingwood retain the ball in their attacking 50. Burton, there to Simpson, who scrambles it away towards the wing. Cole needs to affect the shepherd here. Did enough Cole in the early stages. Allows Burns. High to half forward. Rocker! Got hands to it. Couldn't take the mark. Free kick. Kangaroos way. Comes back to Simpson.
To the wing. It's all Collingwood here. McKee couldn't hang on to it. We're going to throw in. Spider Burton coming off. Petrie on for a run. 16 points in favour of the Magpies. We've gone 11 minutes in the third quarter. Petrie the tap, and it went to Freeborn. He gained about 25 metres for his team.
Big Steve McKee doing the ruck work for Collingwood has been terrific in this game. He's just drifting out of the action here. He'll let Josh Fraser do the ruck work against Petrie, but McKee has rucked unchanged for the entire 2.5 quarters. Here he goes again.
Petrie did it well, but McKee to Cole. To half forward, Lockyer camped underneath it. Almost. Now he gets it. Clever handball over the top to Fraser, who can run on and kick another one. Sprayed it across the face. Tarrant. Stevens went without it. Fortunately for the Kangaroos, they had numbers deep in defence. And Colbert's kick finds Shannon Grant at half-back.
Cool heads prevailing in the defensive goal square for the Kangaroos. Now Sinclair has it. Plenty of space. It's a shepherd from Stevens, although he allowed Didak through. Well played. Good chase from Didak. Free kick to Collingwood. Advantage paid. Lucuria delivers towards half forward. Fraser in front of Martin. Clever play. No, it's not 50. Crowd pulling for 50.
Mickey Martin on Josh Fraser now. Martin played on Cummings in the first half.
Tarrant leading. He bombs it long to the goal square. One out. Archer with strength.
He's a hard man, Archer, isn't he?
He's so dependable. And one out in the goal square. Punched it through for a behind. The Magpies by 17 points.
Blood rule, and it's up the other end of the ground. And it looks like Digby Morrell coming off. And just terrific aggressive spoiling by Glenn Archer. Thumped that through for a behind. The man in picture, Byron Pickett, he really has to lift for the Kangaroos. We showed him pre-game. He's only had 2 disposals, had a very lean game, playing on Johnson, who's doing a fine job on him. At the other end of the ground, Leon Davis has really come into the action.
Makepeace. Knocked back inside 50 for Collingwood by McKee. Davis, an up and under. Archer. Brilliantly done. And he finds Simpson at half-back. Great football by Glenn Archer, and Simpson's off.
Long, beyond the wing, Rocker and Prestigiacomo. Brilliantly read, though, by Baird, who kicks to a vacant half-board. Johnson and Pickett, foot race. Johnson keeping ground, needs to keep his feet. Pickett was very good. Pickett fell over. Boundary throw in.
Ben Johnson, that's his name, and he moved like a Ben Johnson. He had to. He had to.
Without the steroids.
Yes. And
as we watched, you don't often see just a foot race over 30 metres like that.
Yeah.
And they were both centimetre by centimetre. Well played by Johnson. Prestigiacomo gets it down, hacked out of off the ground by Lucuria. Scotland couldn't quite handle it. Now a chance for Robbins. Rawlings. Grant concedes some ground to Harding. He works his way through the pack, then lost the football. Ties it up and a bounce 40 metres from the Kangaroo goal.
Collingwood supporters have come to life. They thought it was a free kick their way, holding onto the ball. And Buckley and Simpson opposed to each other. Neither can really has had a big influence on the game to this stage.
Petrie and McKee. McKee gets it down to Buckley. Lockyer comes to meet it. Well played. Look, goes back inside attacking 50 for the Kangaroos. Johnson. Handball is good under pressure, but Theris wants his right side and then kicks into King. Backup provided by Johnson. Clement. Now Buckley has space on centre wing. Normally uses the ball very well. Decides to give it to Lockyer. Tarrant leads for him. Kick towards Rocker. Couldn't take the mark. Davis at the front of the pack. Free kick to Collingwood. Davis kicked it behind. Free kick coming back to Collingwood. It'll come to Anthony Rocker. And umpiring Gavin Dorr just explaining to Lee Colbert that you interfered with Rocker.
This is the only distance you don't want him kicking from.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason why you don't want him to kick from here, he doesn't kick through the footy. We'll just have a look. Does Colbert grab hold of him?
Oh, gee, there wasn't much in that.
That was soft.
Much in that.
That was soft. Nathan Buckley had a couple of very important touches in the last minute or two. He can kick the ball 60 metres, and he needs to go back and kick it 60 metres, even though he's only 25, 30 out.
Nathan Buckley setting up this opportunity for Anthony Rocker. He's kicked one, comes in, couple of steps, and squeezes it through for his second. So Rocker has 2, and Collingwood extend their lead out to 23 points. We've played 16 minutes in this third quarter.
I just think that's no free kick.
Rob, for what you see all over the ground, there wasn't much in that.
Yeah, it's disappointing when they do that. Byron Pickett's gone to the goal square with Ben Johnson. They've given him the entire 50-metre arc to work in, so they'll be looking for him to use his pace on the young Magpie.
So the Kangaroos in trouble now at Colonial Stadium. Magpies have kicked 4 goals to 0 this quarter. Sav Rocker to Robbins to Harvey. He's been quieter over the last 10 or 12 minutes. Inside 50. We'll have a ball up. Robbins is having a break, and Dylan Smith comes into the game for the Roos.
Richard Cole's done some good things, Rob, across the half-back for the Magpies.
Yeah, very impressed with him. He's very good on his left foot, always tries to use the ball, and he's got a few tricks.
Petrie got his hand on it first. Simpson harassed to Grant. Now Stevens. Kicks hurriedly. Oh. And he'll claim it as a pass, but it was a fluke. It won't bother Brady Rawlings to line up from 45 metres out on a slight angle. And this is a very important kick for the Kangaroos. So Brady Rawlings. Brother plays for Hawthorn, Jade. First game for the year. Rawlings comes in and he's missed badly. Just sneaks home for one behind.
Gee, just judging by the crowd reaction, you just get the feeling that it's a very, very pro-Collingwood crowd.
So let off for the Magpies. Bad miss by Rawlings from the kick in. Johnson, beautiful kick to the wing, but Ferris has found space to the 50. Rocker slipped over. Colbert slipped over. We've seen that all night. Lockyer keeps it in around the corner, puts it out on the full. And
disappointing finish in the end. I know he was under the pump, but he's generally a good kick, Tarquin Lockyer, but tonight he hasn't been.
Makepeace switches. Sav Rocker. The Bruiser away.
He intended to give it to Harvey. Eventually he did. It took a while getting there. The kick to Sinclair in front of Didac. Can the Kangaroos set something up here? Just hoisted high inside attacking 50. Prestigiacomo, the sport by his own teammate, but he got it at ground level to Burns. Underground kick. Gets to Clement. But yes, Clement, who grubbers it towards Freeborn. Ball close to the line. Play on's the call. Archer, clever. Smith. Well, put Sinclair under pressure. He was able to get rid of it effectively towards Rocker. He's got Rawlings inside. He ignores that. Just kicks it high. Blazes away to centre half forward. Pat. Mercurio, close quarters. Johnson. Went for an ambitious bounce inside his own defensive 50. In the end, probably a little lucky. Collingwood were able to tie it up.
Pickett coming off.
Well, he's only had a couple of touches and a lead night. T coming on. Only kicked the two behind Kangaroos. 19-20 minutes into this third quarter.
McKee, Scotland now. Been a very good player, he's Scotland. Nothing to kick to. In fact, he kicks to a vacant wing position. Kangaroos will be first there just. Safe boundary line beats Makepeace.
Kick for touch.
It was perfect in the end. Byron Pickett on the interchange bench.
And again, McKee doing the ruck work. He's just been terrific tonight.
Takes it out this time. Tackle coming from Petrie. Buckley fighting in hard under the pack. Ties it up. Bounce on the wing.
So Adam Simpson's 15 disposals tonight. He's third in the AFL this year for disposals. So his output has been a little bit down, but we've still got a quarter and a half to go. Leon Davis, fantastic since quarter time. Martin out of fresh airing. That allows Josh Fraser into the picture. To Batprince. That's a great mark. It's taken by Didac, and he is directly in front. 45 metres out.
It was a good kick by Batprince, had depth on it. Sinclair, the Kangaroo player, was always in trouble when he was running with the flight of the ball, and Didac got up first, full stretch, took the mark, had a lovely spot to put the ball in that central corridor. Have a look at the marks there. They really got their game going now. First quarter, Collingwood only 8 marks. This quarter so far, 18.
This will make it 28 points if he can convert. Didac has, and the Magpies are in control. So Alan Didac gets his first. And it's out to 28 points. And the Roos will have to produce something extraordinary from here.
Yeah, good play by Josh Fraser. He didn't try to kick it around the corner. He just put it out in space to a teammate. He went backwards to go forwards. And then Batprince kicked. It was just to a perfect spot. And this young fella got a good leap.
Denis Pagan, Tony Elshaw. pondering what the next move can be. They trail by 28 points, the Kangaroos. Petrie in the middle, taken by Burns. Scrambles it inside, attacking 50. Martin faded by the bounce, didn't really look, just popped it on the boot. Baird makes a contest, well played. And bounce. Collingwood have kicked.
Rocket coming off, Michael.
Yeah, and they're going to bring young Jason Cloak on. I hope he goes forward, young Cloak, because he is a very good mark and very courageous.
He is indeed, Rob. Baird, deft touch to King. Kicks it long inside, attacking 50. One out, Rocker. Can't hold on. Prestigier Como did brilliantly. It's been an enthralling duel, that one. Of course, old teammates. And
in a long time since the Kangas have kicked a goal. 18-minute mark of the second quarter.
Burns up, contesting the rat contest. Simpson kicks goal at vacant goal square. Wakeland needs a good bounce. Got one in the end. Chase from McCartney. Then kicks it, gives it straight up to Sinclair, who snaps from the boundary line. Contest, Baird, he's marked it. John Baird's marked just 5 metres from goal. The angle is acute. And he'll be brought now around on the angle, and there's a great shot of what confronts John Baird.
Well, Wakeland tried to grub at the ball over the boundary line. He couldn't kick it on the full. He would have kicked it over the line and a free kick come back, but the grubber kick went straight to Jeff Sinclair, who was able to put it back to the goal square. This fella with the ball plays mainly as a defender.
Great view right behind the line, and misses to the near side. The idea was right, just the execution. So margin back to 27 points in favour of the Magpies, 24.5 minutes into this third quarter.
Last time Buckley kicked in, the Magpies took it into their forward zone, kicked a goal without the Kangaroos touching the ball. Here they go again.
Well, they're halfway there, Rob, as Johnson. Oop, the kick's a shocker.
Yeah, bad kick.
Shannon Grant finds Harvey on the wing. He hits Sinclair on the chest. Here's Rawlings. From 48 metres, he has a pot shot. It's only one behind. So 2 behinds this turn to Brady Rawlings. The Kangas need goals. It's Collingwood 9-10-64. Kangaroos 5-8-38. And
Big Anthony going for the different boots. He's been slipping a bit like many players have on this surface.
let's get over to Jared Waitley.
He's actually taking the long stops off, the screw-in stops off, and putting the mouldeds on. He's just got a trainer to go and get them from the rooms for him. And so Rocker's changing into the mouldeds, which, I don't know, Wolsey, is that a surprise?
Well, the nylon stops, the long stops. This surface is very hard, so it would be treacherous and it'd be hard on your feet.
Great kick from Wakeland. Johnson couldn't hold on, but he recovers well at ground level to make a contest outnumbered 2-1. Then Johnson, who's been a very good player tonight, just turned the ball over a couple of times, as he did just a minute ago. Didn't prove costly on that occasion, only behind from the rebound football. But he's been a good player. Burton tries to get it down to Smith, fighting hard. McKee, he's been a tower of strength all night, Steve McKee.
He comes from a place called Port Punker, which is near Myrtleford, northern Victoria, and he was drafted by the Tigers going back about 6 years ago, had a couple of years there, went to Collingwood, and this year has really come of age.
Burns has been absolutely fantastic tonight for Collingwood. Kick towards Cloak, will make a contest, and he marks.
I wanted to see him play in the forward line, Cloak, because he's got all the attributes to be a good forward.
Handball to Buckley. Fraser can't hold on, but there is waiting at front of the pack. Davis, he couldn't quite finesse around Martin. Freeborn trying hard. It's taking a long time, Glenn Freeborn. He's not penalised. I thought he may have been. Shannon Grant in there. Glenn Freeborn, I think, relieved that he was able to do enough just to tie the ball up inside Collingwood's attacking 50.
And Fraser almost takes this mark, just tries to take 2 bites at the cherry, misses it, and he'd be a bit disappointed with that, but gee, Cloak's mark was a beauty. He's playing now on Colden.
Fraser beaten by Burton. Down to, and there's a free kick coming back.
Yeah, umpire away from the action saw it. He sprinted down there to give the free kick. It will go to King for holding in the contest.
Kangaroos unlucky not to be paid advantage there.
Here's Makepeace. To centre half forward, finds Sinclair. Hasn't got much to kick to. They're all running madly back inside their 50. The Kangaroos bared in front. Harding, can he manufacture something? Cole for Collingwood, and the Magpies out of danger again. Scotland dribbles one towards the boundary line. Nicely done. And throw in.
That dribble kick has become an art form now in football. You just can't afford to kick it over the line. Mick Malthouse will be pretty happy with this quarter. He would be desperate to make sure the Kangaroos don't kick a goal in these last minute or two.
Collingwood have kicked 5 goals to 0 this quarter. So the Magpies, down by 2 points at half-time, now lead handsomely by 26 points, 9-10-64 to 5-8-38.
Well, it is a handsome lead, Steve, because in a low-scoring game, to be able to come out in that third quarter and put 5 goals on the board and the opposition not get a goal, it is a real advantage. And Denis Pagan has got some worries. He hasn't got any forwards who are presenting and marking. Byron Pickett's off his game, so he'll have to set his forward line up.
Thank you, Steve. Well, round 6 of the V8 Supercar Championship goes cross-country this weekend. That is...
Just couldn't hang on to it. Now Tarrant onto his wrong side. Awkward kick. Lockyer concedes some ground back to Freeborn. Sells the dummy to King. Gets some space. Kicks a ripper. Three-quarter time. Saturday night football at Colonial Stadium. This round 13 clash, and the Magpies headed for their 9th win of the season. They lead by 26 points at the last break, 9-10-64. The Kangaroos 5-8-38. And, well, they'll need a near miracle here, Michael and Robert, the Kangaroos, to get up and get the points tonight.
Well, they will. The Kangaroos have been very competitive, but they've fallen down in their forward line. They haven't had a big forward able to kick goals. Sav Rocker, Digby, Morrell, McCartney, their tall forward options haven't been able to kick goals.
Fresh legs, always important at this time of the night.
And O'Brien and McGough, who have played parts, particularly McGough in the early part, still plenty of, hasn't spent much time on the ground, so he's certainly an option for Mick Malthouse in this final quarter.
Yes, and O'Brien. We saw Mick Malthouse does that pretty well. He always makes sure that come the last 30 minutes, he's got one or two players, midfielders, who've got plenty of run left in the legs.
Let's go down to Jared Waitley.
Well, quarters, just on that topic, the use of the interchange bench. Denis Pagan's made 27 changes in 3 quarters to Mick Malthouse's 9, so just using the bench 1/3 of the time compared to Denis. The Magpie Army, gee, didn't they find voice during that quarter? Robert, you suggested that the crowd was one-sided. It is very one-sided. Magpie fans have had a couple of weeks with their team in Perth and then the bye last week, and they certainly made up for it in that quarter. The news of their win, if it happens tonight, will be tempered by Scott Cummings, who is injured again. This was just his 5th game of an injury-riddled season. He appears to be feeling severe discomfort, perhaps in his right hip or high up on his right leg, and is now limping noticeably. Won't take any further parts tonight, and you would expect will spend yet another couple of weeks on the sidelines.
Thanks, Jared Waitley.
O'Brien going to the bench, Anthony Rocker going to the bench with Cummings. Just wonder if O'Brien is fully fit, because if he was right, you'd think that he'd be out there in the thick of it. Cloak will go to the forward line for the Magpies.
Three-quarter time at the Gabba. Brisbane by a point. Gee, that's a great effort by Carl.
A great effort.
Plenty said during the week.
Plenty said by the little
by
brown
one person, actually.
The little brown medalist. He said it all.
24 scoring shots to 20, so they've obviously had a lot of the play.
So Denis Pagan just milking every last second of this three-quarter time break.
And I was just thinking at three-quarter time, Steve, that Byron Pickett could be the man who could set them alight.
Just isolate them in the goal.
Yeah, but Byron Pickett's coming to the interchange bench, so that's not going to happen. McCartney alongside him, Petrie and John Baird. So have a look at the Kangaroo forward line, and they've got Sav, Sinclair, Shannon Grant, Morrell, Anthony Stevens.
So it's a quarter time. It was the Magpies by a point. At half time it was the Kangaroos by 2 points, but thanks to a 5-0-0 third quarter, it is the Magpies starting the last term leading by 26 points.
Harvey's influence in that third quarter diminished. He'd been averaging 10-11 possessions in the first and second quarters. He had 6 in the third term. Glenn Freeborn putting the brakes on him. But he's an important player. He's a good player. Just slipping out of the centre square for this first bounce.
So here we go for the last quarter. Kangaroos looking to keep in touch with the top 8. The Magpies, as the season wears on, trying to cement that vital double chance. Down it goes. It's McKee against Burton. Won by McKee. Coming through is Cole. Johnson's had a great second half. Teague. Robbins couldn't get a handle on it. Now the ball's in dispute. Simpson dived on it. And we've got a stalemate here. And we'll have a ball up.
On the bench, O'Brien, Rocker, McGough and Scott Cummings. We wouldn't expect Cummings to come back and play.
So Pickett's warming up on the sidelines, Robert, so he may yet.
I'd have Pickett on. I think that to kick 5 or 6 goals, which they have to do, you'd need Byron Pickett out there.
Harvey on defensive 50 to Martin. To King. Sinclair's got the set. And got the free kick. Magpie fans don't like it, but it was fair enough. So Jess Sinclair. There's Pickett. Bangs it long. It's a good kick to Rocker. Prestigiacomo did very well under pressure, and Cole once again mops up for the Maggies.
Uses the ball so well, Richard Cole.
Batprince towards Cwood against Teague. Lockyer just hacks it forward inside attacking 50. Oh, Davis overruns it. Dinah providing the back. Oh, loose player in the goal square is Tarrant. Can he pick it up? Tarrant, he kicks it goal and pops it through. So Chris Tarrant opens the final quarter with a goal, his second, and Collingwood have kicked the last 7 goals of the match and now lead by a comfortable 32 points.
And they took that ball from the defensive 50 to the forward 50, kicked off the ground there by Lockyer, and you'll see Davis slips over, and Didak, terrific pickup, and then a 25-metre handball to the goal square for Tarrant to be able to put it through.
So what can Denis Pagan conjure? It's the Magpies in control by a very handy 32 points. Cole again. Collingwood back inside their 50. Cloak. Here's Leon Davis onto the right boot. Right foot snap by Leon. Not quite making the distance. And Archer sees it over the line.
Leon Davis and Tarrant, they're starting all the attacking moves from the goal square, just leading out from the goal square. This little fella been terrific in the second half.
So deep in Collingwood's attacking territory. Burton against Fraser. Burton got it to Colbert. To Hardy. Backs himself. Goes straight down the middle. Rocker. Takes a good mark. There's no one inside the Roos 50. What will he do?
Byron Pickett sprinting to the goal square.
So Sav Rocker from 75 metres unloads a big drop punt. Pickett, great chest mark. That was not easy.
Yes, you can see it happening. They set up that space and like to have their players running towards goal. And Byron Pickett knew that. As soon as Sav took the mark, he was off. He would have run 50 metres to mark that ball. Flat chat towards the goal square. Thought McKee thought McKee could have got a hand on it.
So Pickett will run around here, improve the angle, and kicks a goal. Two goals to Byron Pickett.
And Big Sav goes back. Thumping kick, that goes every bit of 55 metres, and Big McKee, Collingwood ruckman, he'd be disappointed with that effort. Should have got a hand on it, forced it through for a rush behind.
The Magpies by 26 points. 4.5 in the final term goal.
And that's the Collingwood goal square. Tarrant and Davis, plenty of space to lead into.
Margin back to 26 points. Kangaroos. Robbins just, well, kicks it really toward the wing. In space. Buckley, Morrell will get there first. He overruns it. Chance for Wakeland. Chips it cleverly. Lockyer. Now he's got a loose player in Freeborn. Couldn't get it to him. Brilliant smother coming from King. Robbins kept his hands free. Boundary line was too close. So Collingwood almost away there. Great interception by David King. Between wing and half forward for the Magpies. Burton and Fraser. Burton on the bounce. Ineffective. Now Simpson kicks it towards Hartford. Cole. I've been impressed with his game. Short. Player is Scotland of clever skills. Now he's played on. Now handball effective. Johnson needs to be good. Scotland goes back and gets it. Scrambles a handball to Burns on attacking 50. Kicks across the ground, Didak. He's a thumping kick, Alan Didak. We'll need to kick this 55 metres plus.
Scotty Burns is telling him just to settle down. You could see Didak, once he took the mark, his eyes were darting everywhere, trying to give the ball off if somebody presented themselves. Scotty Burns, the senior player, said, just go back and have a long kick.
From 55. Drop punt, had the distance, not the accuracy. So margin out to 27 points in favour of the Magpies. 6 minutes in, the attendance this evening, 48,288. Great crowd.
Lucuria to Batprince. Oh, the pass to Freeman just didn't come off. Harvey's run down by Davis on the right boot. It's a behind to Leon Davis, who's kicked 1 goal 4 for the evening.
Dangerous, isn't he? Every time he gets it, the crowd lifts. Exciting player to watch. And the other one is Richard Cole. Gee, I was going to say he's going to be a very good player. He already is a good player.
So the ball comes back in for the Roos. Burton couldn't mark. And we'll have a ball up. So 7 minutes is ticked over in the final term. It's Collingwood, 28-point lead.
Just need to get the next 2 goals, the Kangaroos, to have any chance. 1 goal each this quarter.
Burton snared it, but couldn't get a handball away. McKee did to Didak, who thumps it long. No one home. Behind to Didak. So another goal here for the Magpies would just about seal the issue in a low-scoring game. But there's still a breath of life for the Kangaroos. The make-piece to bring it back in.
Loose player, Teague. 29 points the margin, so 5 straight kicks. Can they build some momentum? High, or he kicked to a contest where Collingwood players outnumber the Kangaroos. Batprince with the mark. Loose player at half-forward. Burns. Too much carry on the kick. Didak. Gee, in slow motion, Didak to Burns. Fends off Teague. Lucuria from 40. Stands and delivers. Misses.
Well, they could have buried the Kangaroos in the last 5 minutes, but they just missed on 3 or 4 occasions. I still think they've got it under control, but it could have been all over.
Harvey to Rawlings. He's trying to create something, the Roos. There from the side, McKee almost. Now quick hands. Comes out to Morrell. Shannon Grant has been quiet. To Baird. Into the middle. Simpson. Now King. King thumps it long. Wakeland's got his name on it from the side. Fisted towards the goals, and we've got to throw in. There's a kick and hope there from the Kangas.
Yes, they took the ball sideways from the wing across to the other wing. Finally, King went long because they didn't have anyone in the forward 50. They had to wait for Big Sav to get back there.
Pickett. Now Lockyer for Collingwood. Hugs the boundary line. Throw in about 60 out from the Kangaroos' goal. Harvey, the leading possession getter on the ground. He's got 30 for the Kangaroos. 22 to Scotland for Collingwood.
Disciplined forward, staying back in the space, not getting sucked up into the action. Davis and Tarrant. Interesting contest between Buckley and Simpson. Buckley's had 15 disposals, Simpson's had 18.
Chance for Cole. Ineffective kick. Gets it to the wing though. Harvey has had a quiet second half compared to his blistering first half. Rawlings to Martin. Back to Rawlings. Collingwood are forcing the Kangaroos back. They're now at half-forward. Harvey over the top to Martin in space on the wing. Harding. Now the Kangaroos can set something up. He takes them on Harding. Well played. Runs to 45. Kick lets him down.
He's got some
strokes it in for a point. Well, the Kangaroos need something like that. He just took them on, took 3 of them on. Margin back to 29 points in favour of Collingwood.
And Nathan Buckley. Got 11 minutes in the final term. He goes straight up the middle. Magnificent kick to Batprince, who got the free kick. Advantage paid? No, it's coming back to Ruben Batprince. Beautiful kick by Buckley. Batprince to Lucuria. Can he use the football? It's out in front of Tarrant. It's a great kick.
Well, that's the perfect bit of play, isn't it? Lucuria on the lead, on the burst to Tarrant on the run.
Tarrant into the goal square. Fraser! Takes a hanger right on the goal line. Josh Fraser will go back and all but seal the issue for Collingwood tonight.
And again, the perfect sit. Left early, got over the top of Mick and kept control all the way down.
And more importantly, marked it equidistant between the goalposts, so it's directly in front.
Every footballer's dream to take a hanger in the goal square, and Josh Fraser will kick a goal. Well, it's 35 points the difference at the 12-minute mark of the final term. And it's all over bar the shouting now, you'd think.
Now, Tarrant would have covered 30 metres to take that mark. Lucuria was able to hit him with the pass. It was a lovely kick by Lucuria. And Tarrant very quick to move it onto the goal square. And don't the fans love that? Gee, it's a good mark.
Fraser off the ground after that spectacular mark. Anthony Rocker back on, so Collingwood lose nothing there. McKee again puts his body in. Fraser, who's been very good since coming on the ground early in the game. Burns, Scotland, Collingwood away again. Left foot kick was ordinary off the boot. Tarrant takes it on the bounce. Davis, Didak deep in the pocket. What can he conjure up here? Barnes round the corner. Oh, gee, just kicked it brilliantly. Couldn't quite find the big opening. And in the end, the Kangaroo defence were equal to the task. Margin 36 points in favour of the Magpies. 13 minutes in final term.
So Harvey's away for the Roos. Only as far as McKee, who's had a great night. Back inside 50. Terrific kick to Didak. And they're running over the top of them now, the Magpies. Didak will line up from 35 metres out on a slight angle. Kick one, and this should be his second.
It's interesting, Didak's had a very good second half. And his opponent, Shannon Grant, I just don't think Grant's paid him the respect that he should have. Didak, virtually an unknown player, hasn't played a lot of games, and sometimes they can get under your guard.
Just 11 disposals for Shannon Grant tonight. This is number 12 for Didak. From 35. Another one for the Magpies. So this is an impressive second half for Collingwood since the major break. The Kangaroos have kicked 1 goal and the Magpies have kicked 8.
Yeah, they've been terrific since half-time, and you see Didak in space, and Shannon Grant's been dragged by his coach, and the coach says, get on the phone, you must pay respect to your opponents. So Shannon Grant on the phone to the coach. Denis Pagan would be telling him, you've let us down, you haven't played tight enough, Didak's had too much ball.
Almost a soccer environment inside Colonial Stadium. Collingwood fans finding voice. Bathiris, O'Brien, who spent a lot of time on the interchange bench. Sinclair did well to intercept. He's tied up though. And a bounce at centre-half forward for the Kangaroos.
A couple of the Kangaroo players like Grant and David King. King's been on lockyer for most of the game. They back themselves a bit, and if the opposition are getting more of the ball, well, their opponents can be very dangerous. They just don't play tight enough.
Harvey eventually just socketed her off the ground. Rocker, Prestigier Como's been his master tonight. Simpson, little snap at goal. Pickett fell over. Clement grabbed round the legs. Buckley, brilliant smother coming from Simpson. What a duel that's been. Buckley has had 16 disposals. Adam Simpson has had 19. So neither player having an enormous impact on the game.
Just about a break even, isn't it?
Kangaroos deep into attack. Rocker, oh, brilliantly sharked by Simpson. Snap around the body, just misses with his 20th possession. So margin back to 41 points in favour of the Magpies. Still plenty of time. We've only played 16 minutes in this final term.
Buckley doing the kicking in, and why not? He's the best kick in the side.
Collingwood cheer squad starting to enjoy the night.
Gee, Lucuria receives a lot of handballs because he's a power runner. Just gets to good spots, and his teammates give it to him, and he runs as hard in the final quarter as he does in the first.
But Ferris to half forward. There he is, still running down the ground, Lucuria. Great effort, put his body on the line, won the football for the Magpies. Rocker goes short to Didak. There's a couple of 1%ers, Robert Walls.
Oh, just terrific. And Shannon Grant will be sitting on the bench saying, well, he's too good for the next bloke who went out there. But good unselfish football there. But gee, Lucuria does cover enormous ground. And Big Anthony, good vision, spears the pass in. And Didak, who missed a couple of shots on the run, has been pretty good with the set kicks.
Kick 2-2, Alan Didak. All in the second half. So he's going to line up only 30 metres out on a slight angle. And with his skills, he should slot it through. And he makes no mistake. Didak gets his third. Collingwood get their 13. So they're creaming him now, the Maggies. 13-15, 93, 6-10, 46. And, well, it's really turned into a one-sided contest, Robert.
Yeah, gee, Lucuria was great there, just to force the spill. And, of course, the Magpies cleaned up and were able to kick the goal. But it's been a 9-goal-to-1 second half.
Denis Pagan saying, will someone get on Didak?
Back in the centre, McKee, who's been absolutely superb tonight for Collingwood. Steve McKee. Secondary bounce. Anthony Stevens, who's been relatively quiet.
And Teague is playing on Didak now.
14 possessions for Anthony Stevens. Petrie, Burns, Johnson, who's been good, tries to force his way through, can't. Ball up. Magpies led by a point at quarter time, trailed by 2 at half time, but kicked 5 goals to 0 in that third quarter to lead comfortably at the final break. Colbert to Harvey, accelerated away from the Collingwood forward line. Kick towards the wing, but Buckley, well played by Harvey, who gave the ball up but then followed up and forced Buckley over the boundary line. And some frustration. Nathan Buckley, who's been a contributor. Centre breaks in favour of the Magpies. And very effective. McKee just putting his body in front of Burton. Simpson, Petrie.
He does that a lot. Simpson, he comes from behind and catches the boundary throw in. Buckley was awake to it. He tried to put a block on him, and Simpson was able to slip through.
Interesting possessions per goal, 41.7 for the Kangaroos. They're usually averaging about 19 possessions per goal.
Yes, they've been forced wide, and a lot of pressure put on them. They've had disposals, but not effective ones, and they just haven't had a dominant tall forward.
Usually one of the most efficient teams inside their 50. Not tonight, and that's due to Collingwood's pressure. Gee, Baird caught one from O'Brien after play, but nothing too serious. Didn't like the treatment, though. To Sinclair. Harding. Good tackle by Burns. Again forces the turnover. Batteris used his body well. Cloak. Oh, little gift to Batteris. Great tackle. Play on, says the umpire. Colbert. Caught high. Advantage paid. Robbins. There's a wrestle on behind. Nothing much in that as the umpire comes to break it up. Doing the crumbing was Sinclair to Harvey. Possession number 36 for Brett Harvey. But he's blazed away. It wasn't his best kick for the night. It's out on the full.
Just keeps going, doesn't he?
36 possessions, 6 marks, inside 50, 10 times. And a couple of goals.
Leon Davis has a panic out there on that wing.
He certainly does. Confronted by King. Doesn't try and get around him, just kicks to half forward in the lead of Rocker. The Anthony variety. Now, Martin was well over the mark. Umpire Dawg calls him back. Sensible umpiring. Geez, a long way from goal. He'll kick from 65 metres. The crowd willing him on.
Kick it to Torpy.
They're willing him on. He goes for it. Wobbles it to the top of the goal square. T. marks comfortably with his chest. Didn't get onto it. And still went 55 metres. Robbins links up with Stevens. Draws a play into Rawlings. Put him under the pump because O'Brien was waiting. Fortunately gets back to Stevens. McCartney, Harvey, another possession. Drives to half-forward. Baird in front of Cole. Marks within kicking range. So John Baird, a chance to some respectability back into the scoreboard for the Kangaroos.
That's an interesting stat, Michael. Goals from marks. Collingwood have kicked 8 goals from marks. The Kangaroos just the 2. And we've mentioned it before. Their tall forwards, Morrell, McCartney, Big Sav, just haven't been able to get their hands on the ball.
Baird kicks high to the goal square contest. Prestigiacomo stood up. As you can see, the 5-minute warning. 5 minutes of actual game time left in this match here at Colonial Stadium. But the Magpies in control.
Denis Pagan would be bitterly disappointed with this second half. Yeah, they pride themselves on fighting out games, and to have only kicked the 1 goal is not typical of a Kangaroo side.
O'Brien. His target's Rocker. Nice kick by O'Brien. Rocker plays on. Batheris goes long. Leon Davis poleaxes his opponent. Terrible goal to kick a goal, but it won't be allowed. It'll come back. It'll be a free kick to the Roos. As Anthony Rocker has a break, Josh Fraser back on. Definite free kick against Leon Davis. Collingwood
I think he might have flown a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it.
Gee, courageous effort by Teague.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? He's a good goer, Teague.
Gee.
So make peace with the free kick. Inside the last 5 minutes. It's Collingwood on their way to a very big win against the Kangaroos. Colbert, how have you rated his game, Robert?
I think Lee Colbert started off the game pretty well. He just doesn't make much happen when he gets it. He hasn't got any pace, so he always just dishes off a handball. Hasn't got the confidence to break free and back himself.
Kangaroos a chance here. Stevens threads the handball. Simpson just kicks it high, more in hope than anything. Cole just goes back comfortably. Marks dangerous kick towards Wakeland. Well played by Rawlings. Clement there to assist. Good tackle by Pickett. McKee dribbles it towards the line. Burns sees it over. So Collingwood got out of it in the end, out of trouble in the end. Boundary throw into right half forward for the Kangaroos.
Lee Colbert's had his hands full all night. He's played on Anthony Rocker for most of the night, a little bit on Josh Fraser, and now he's on Jason Cloak.
An effective rut play. McKee gets another possession. Sinclair went in hard.
They are a tough team, the Magpies. In close, in the pack situations, they hit in hard, they tackle, they're desperate, they smother. They really do work for each other.
Well, they just ground down one of the hardest teams in the comp, haven't they?
They have, yeah. Oh, this is a very significant win.
McKee. Rawlings now inside attacking 50. Rocker and Prestigiacomo. Prestigiacomo knocks it to the line. Still in. He emerges with a bounce if you don't mind. Clement. Now, loose player. Lockyer almost tried to knock that onto Cole. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Cole, casual bounce. The Courier. Players running everywhere for Collingwood. Now O'Brien. Couple of bounces. Runs to 40. Drop punt on its way. Davis at the bat. Oh, he got up again. Boundary throw. Free kick again against Davis.
Chris Tarrant not too happy with O'Brien.
He's gone for the big hanger. Put his hands on the back. Held the jumper of Makepeace.
Yep.
Bit of showtime. Tarrant produced a beautiful lead, but O'Brien ignored him.
This will be their 8th win in 10 games, the Maggies. They are a legitimate premiership contender. You know, we all talk about Port and Brisbane, but they're up there with Essendon as a real chance.
Teague for the Kangaroos. To the wing. Simpson. That's a free kick. No. Umpire let it go. And we'll have a ball up. Kangaroos half-forward line. 93 plays 47. We've said it a few times. They've dominated the second half. They've kicked 9 goals, Collingwood, to the Kangaroos 1. McKee against Petrie. Harvey again to Rawlings. Sinclair. King to Harvey. Did it well. This is possession number 38 for Harvey, and it's a good one. Shannon Grant can go on and kick a goal, and he's hit the woodwork. How about Brent Harvey? 27 kicks, 12 handballs, 39 disposals. You don't see many players get 40, do you?
Just wonderful effort. He had a quiet patch in the third quarter, if you like, where he only had about 7 possessions, but his first half was sensational. He virtually runs on the ball for 4 quarters, hardly ever comes off. That's exceptional in today's game. Most of the midfielders spend some time on the bench.
Wakeland in from the side. Robbins, who's tried hard for the Kangaroos, is tied up. Another bounce. Ben Robbins has had 20 possessions.
A lot of teams play up in Brisbane, play Brisbane at the Gabba, and then come back and struggle the next week. And they were pretty good last week, the Kangaroos, but they've been really flat tonight.
And the boundary thrown, particularly after half-time. It's an enthralling first half. It's tight, tough, not a lot of goals scored. Since half-time, the Magpies have dominated. Colbert pokes it forward, ball bouncing. Still won't make the line. Free kick and Scorters
To Bear.
against Wakeland. So
Good bit of ruck work
opportunity
by
for John Bear.
yeah, good bit of ruck work by Sapp to hit it over the back at the ruck contest, and Colbert awake to it. He came running through, got the quick kick to the goal square, and the free kick paid to John Baird.
So John Baird, his debut year, has just kicked the 1 goal in his 10 games. Kicked 1 earlier in the quarter. Comes in directly in front and pops it through for the Kangaroos. So the Kangaroos get one back, but unfortunately for Kangaroo fans, it's all too late. And the margin back to 39 points in favour of the Magpies, who had played 29 minutes in this final term.
And Wakeland just hanging on to Baird there. Looked like a free kick.
So consolation goal for the Kangaroos. To Baird. Robbins. Harvey. Possession number 40 for Brent Harvey. To Sinclair, who can go on and kick a goal from 45 metres, and Sinclair pops it through. First goal of Jeff Sinclair for the evening. And without wanting to be repetitive, you've got to tip your hat tonight to Brent Harvey.
Oh, he's just been magnificent. His reflexes are so good, and even the way he gets that ball in heavy traffic. Have a look at this. Hits the deck, bang on it, accelerates, and lifts his eyes, sees his teammate in a bit of space, and Sinclair able to play on and kick the goal.
So margin back to 33 points. Biggest margin, biggest lead in the match by Magpies is 47. So Kangaroos have kicked the last 2. Close to full time. 30 minutes played. This final quarter. Petrie takes it out. Tackle from McKee. Umpire McBurney calls for it.
He's persisted with the Glenn 3 on the tag. Great win to the Magpies.
Final score here at Colonial Stadium. Collingwood 13-15-93. Defeated the Kangaroos 8-12-60 in what was a superb second half of football by the Magpies.
Yes, it was a great win for them. They're in good form. I think the break came at a good time. They were able to freshen up. They've come back to Melbourne after spending time in Darwin. We see the 2 captains go and congratulate each other. That's good to see. Anthony Stevens, so highly respected in the footy world. But Tarrant had a pretty lean night. He played on Archer. To his credit, he never gave up and was able to get into the game in the second half. Darryl Wakeland at fullback goes to the other fullback. Mickey Martin shakes his hand. But a wonderful win for the Magpies, and they're on track to finals footy.
Let's go down to Jared Waitley with one of the stars tonight for the Magpies, Stephen McKee.
Well, Stephen, just about the perfect start to the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. We had the break last week, and that we've sort of thought after the break we'll start the season fresh again. So we first half was pretty tight. We come home, which was pretty good.
Yeah, the turnaround after half-time in the third quarter was remarkable. Did you feel a bit flat early? Were the Kangaroos really hard at it?
Yeah, no, Kangaroos are hard at it. They're always hard at it. We'd probably, after the week off, probably get a few cobwebs out of that, but we probably went running to the right places and stuff like that, and then we've got our game plan going, which was good.
Your own form all night in the first ruck. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, no, it's good. Spent some time in the middle and that, and get a few kicks around the ground, which was good. So helps out Fraser and Peb's up forward so they can run around, so it's working quite well.
Is the belief growing in this side that you really are a top side?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, we just want to keep going and not get too much ahead of ourselves, but yeah, the belief's starting to get there.
Good on you, Steve. Well done.
Thank you.
Stephen McKee all night in the ruck. And he's growing, isn't he, as a player in the competition?
Yes, well, quite a few of them. You know, Richard Cole's another. Didac. There's quite a few of them who are making names for themselves.
So Simon Prestigiacomo.
Well, Simon, you're a mean defence, only giving up a few goals again tonight. Are you priding yourselves on that?
Yeah, well, that's what we've tried to do the last few years. I think if you go back on history, you'll see that the best defensive side often wins the grand final. So we can try and stick to that. Hopefully, it will take us some way to go in there.
That sounds like something Mick's really drummed into you.
Yeah, well, he's always been to try and get a good defence, and at the moment we're doing pretty well, and hopefully we can just keep holding out for the rest of the year.
Good on you. Well done. Enjoy it.
Thanks, sir.
Talking grand finals, Robert. Nothing wrong with that.
No, look, I'm sure that they'll keep a lid on it, but they are a very, very good side, this Collingwood outfit.
As good as a sign they believe in themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, there's Jason Cloak in picture, who's come on. Richard Cole, Didac, Licuria's improved. Wakeland's settled in at fullback particularly well for them. Nathan Buckley didn't play a dominant game.
Well, he hasn't been a dominant player for about a month.
And that's a good sign, because in days gone by, it would be Buckley who would have to be best of field for the Maggies to play real good football. They've got a forward line that can share the responsibility. Anthony Rocker and, of course, Tarrant. And Josh Fraser spent most of the game on the forward line. He's dangerous up there as well. And they've got a few players like O'Brien who can still improve and run back into form. So things are going along pretty well for them.
They certainly are. So Collingwood defeat the Kangaroos by 33 points to win their 9th game for season 2002.